well. Oh, hello there. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're back. Hello. Checking. It's just me today, so I probably don't need to check the sound. But if anybody thinks the sound is not good for any reason, please tell me now before it's too late. Okay. So I was supposed to go live with Nikki, but she had to do some emergency stuff, so to speak. And unfortunately, I'm booked out the whole rest of the week, which is a good thing, I guess. But I got a lot of stuff going on this week. I'm going live tomorrow too. So today is Facts with Maaxx, episode 17. And I gotta clean these are my blue light glasses. I know people have been asking every time. They're like, where do you buy your glasses? I'm like, they're just blue light glasses for the computer screen or the phone, because I look on the screen a lot and it's not very good for you. So blue light glasses is the shit. I got a whole bunch of them, different shapes, and we got different kinds. I just got a new pair here. I didn't even see it. There, get a whole bunch of them. So if you are on the screen a lot, I do advise you wear this. And you can get really cool ones, like these are my favorites. I like them very much. And today I think you guys on Instagram can actually be on Instagram, because if it's only me, I'm going to be in the middle and I'm going to show on the live on Instagram too. Otherwise, if I have a guest, we kind of have to go on a different platform. And I put my link up here, Biohack or Die. That's a link I have. If you guys go join there, you can get my free ebooks. I got a biohacking ebook and a Raise Your Frequency ebook, completely free to download. You can also join the community for free. And a lot of good shit for free, you know? Good information. I'm here to educate. I'm here to help you guys learn some things so you can be fine in this crazy world. And I'm gonna turn on some incense here and candles and shit. I didn't sage. I should probably sage. Do you guys sage? We probably all should. Let's see here. Let's see. No, he don't want to sit there. Hold on. It doesn't want to go in the hole. Okay, I figured it out. There we go. That was funny. That was funny. Then we'll turn on some protection candle here. 'Cause why not? And I mixed up my focus with coconut water today. I'm gonna try something new. I like it. It's very yummy, actually. Very good. Okay. I'm about to talk about dragons today. And I would like to invite everybody that is watching and listening. If you have anything cool, I have put together so much stuff on dragons, videos and documentaries and research and all kinds of stuff. But if any of you guys have something that you think should be shown, please send it to me. You can drop in the chat or in the comments. I should be able to see it all here today. I just have to jump between everything, but yeah. So what do you guys think about dragons? I am a firm believer in all things that people might call mythical, because so my whole conspiracy theory journey started, I mean, I'm gonna say it probably started when I was a kid, but back then I didn't really know. I just thought I was crazy. Long story short, I thought it was crazy. When I was young, I used to have like downloads, but I didn't know what it was back then. So I would, it would kind of happen like this. I would just go about my day and do whatever the hell I was doing, and I always had a lot of stuff going on in my head all the time. Head always spinning like crazy. A lot of weird ideas and question, and people might say I had ADHD or something, but my brain would go all day long like this. Why is it warm? Like, why is the sun like that? Why is that? Why do we have a brain? Why am I me? Why do I have brown hair? Why am I not that person? What, it would just keep going like this all of the time. Just question after question, right? And I think, like, if you were to go to a doctor or something, they will say, yeah, you have ADHD, or you have this issue, or that issue. But I just think it was, some of us were just able to have some common sense and question things. So I would say that in a way it started when I was a kid, even though I had no clue what the hell it was. So yeah, I would just ask a lot of questions all the time. I would always be curious. I was always very stubborn about if there was something I did believe, or if there was something I somehow found some sort of evidence for. I was just very stubborn with my opinions. Obviously, knowing now, and not to say that you shouldn't be, you truly should be, but your mind and your thoughts create your reality. So your reality might not be the same as my reality. And I think we need to like learn to understand and accept that if somebody else says something and you don't agree with them, it doesn't mean that they're wrong, and it doesn't mean that you're wrong or right either. It's just everything is mental. Our mind creates the reality. So if they're saying something, then that's their reality. And then you can always try to lay something out to maybe change somebody's mind. But I have seen and heard and experienced enough things to believe that everything they tell us isn't real probably is real. That's why I love looking into this stuff. So I've seen and experienced things that prove a lot of things wrong. I've done a lot of things in my life as far as, health and whatnot. I've reversed a lot of my own health conditions that aren't supposed to be reversible. Obviously, that's how I started doubting the medical system. So at this point, I'm just kind of like, whatever they tell you, just do the opposite and you'll probably be fine, right? Just don't listen to them. But dragons. It's going to be dragons today. I put together tons and tons and tons of videos and stuff. And I can't say that I have stood face to face with a dragon yet, but I'm working on it. And I will have, I've seen a little something. I felt a little something. I don't have a 100% straight evidence yet, but I'm working on that. So I'm going to go through a bunch of videos. I'm going to play kind of like one thing at a time. We can talk about it. You guys are more than welcome to throw in comments. Since I don't have a guest today, I will be checking the comments a little bit more frequently. So please feel free to drop in things. But yeah, let's get started here. So I have a long list of things. Let's see. Okay, this one is kind of long, so we're going to save this for later. Let's take some of the short video clips first. Let's see here. Boom. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to play. Okay, no, wait. Oh, goodness. Just wait till I share it. Here we go. Okay, first one.
Video footage of a fire-breathing dragon flying outside of a passenger plane, and this looks pretty legit to me. And before you ask, no, it is not an AI video. I already went and checked. It turns out to be real. And this has been happening a lot more lately, because if you remember, just a few years ago, this photo was taken in China and it was all over the news. And don't forget, just a few hundred years ago during the Tartarian era, in our encyclopedias, dragons were listed as now rare. So that
Wait, what was the photo? I didn't even see the
all over the news. And don't forget, just a few hundred years ago during the Tartarian era, in our encyclopedias, dragons were listed as now rare. So that means they were a real species, but they had become less common. Now personally, I think that the flat earth German ice wall map from the 1940s is the hidden key to tell us where these dragons flew off to after we had been killing them in the Middle Ages, making them more rare. I think they went to one of these other continents that were not too far away from our own, and they probably went to a place such as Asgard or Terra Vista, the unexplored regions. I think this map shows probably what is actually out there, the closest out of any of these ice wall maps that we've seen so far.
Okay. So yeah, I've got a tons of videos, so we're just gonna take them kind of like one by one. But I do actually. What? No. Oh goodness. Oh goodness, it just starts playing other shit. Okay, so I actually have a video a little bit later on tonight here that actually goes into the whole map. So we are going to elaborate more on that. Like that guy said that maybe the dragons were flying out to these places on them that aren't on our map today. So I have an entire documentary, not super long, but I have a documentary to actually show where they go into more details on this map. So this guy is saying he's checking the video to see if it's AI created. AI said it's not. Obviously, just by seeing one video like that, we can't really make any opinions about it. But I mean, the dragon definitely looks kind of real, right? And just because, I mean, let's pull it up again here. So there was a, let me see here. So this is what somebody's seeing out of an airplane, or this is what they're, you know, we're seeing some sort of dragon with fire looking cool, right? I mean, just a video like this isn't evidence enough to prove dragons real, but it's pretty cool though. Okay, I'm gonna keep playing some. So here is another one. I just been finding tons and tons of all these videos.
5 dragons caught on camera in real life. You won't believe the last one.
Another one. This is a whole different flavor. That one looks kind of trippy, huh? This one I know, this one is actually super tiny. This is probably the coolest one. I have the full clip of this one coming up later here. Okay, so that was another one, and the last dragon there, I actually found the original clip. So I've been digging into the rabbit hole in this. So a lot of these clips I'm finding, I found a lot of different times. Like sometimes people might take a clip they find and they make like a edit out of it. And then I've been digging deeper, and then eventually I would find like the original clip that was like a full clip. So that one is actually coming here a little later on. I have it on my list. And I mean, it showed a lot more on that one, but I'm gonna keep going here. Okay, TikTok, come on. Okay, so here's a clip that is a little longer. Let me see here.
Dinosaurs aren't what you think they are. Dragons are real. Dinosaurs aren't what you think they are, and I'm going to explain everything in 3 minutes. First off, dinosaurs aren't dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are just really big lizards, the same ones that live today. But the oxygen content back then made everything a lot bigger. Because it's reduced, everything's gotten smaller. So for instance, the chameleon might actually be the triceratops. It may seem kind of crazy, but look at all the reptiles, amphibians, and different types of fish. Now multiply them by 20, and you're going to notice that a lot of them look like dinosaurs. Next, paleontologists won't usually talk about this, but they're still finding soft tissue, muscle, and intact blood in these discoveries. If they were millions of years old, this would be impossible. Dinosaurs lived at the same times as human beings, but like I said, they're not dinosaurs. They're not a completely different species that was wiped out by a meteor. That's ridiculous. Next, a lot of these creatures you see in museums where they put all these bones together and said this is a particular species, it's absolute BS. It's all fabricated. Any paleontologist worth their degree will tell you that these are estimations. They have no idea what these creatures look like. Which leads me to my next point, which answers your question. Have you ever heard of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent? Or the 10 other names of the feathered flying serpent across the world? That was very real, intelligent, could communicate with people, and knew architecture, mathematics, etc. Did you know a bunch of the translations of all of our old gods like the Anunnaki, Elohim, and Yahweh himself actually meant serpent, flying serpent, shiny one, scaly one? Why is it that a serpent comes to the garden and speaks to Eve? Yes, dragons are real. Yes, reptilians are real. There was an intelligent reptile species on this planet that could fly. They also had spaceships, but they could also fly. The whole dinosaur thing is a cover-up for the actual species that exist on this planet and existed on this planet before. They are the native species that became intelligent way before human beings did. In fact, they may have had a large hand in making us. I recommend that you start doing some digging regarding all the things I talked about in this video. You'll get your mind blown, and yes, you'll believe in dragons.
Okay, that was another clip that I rabbit holed in. But I think a lot of this information, so I said I have a lot of clips coming up. But I think when you put all of these pieces together, it all kind of makes sense. And every single video that I am playing on this live tonight, I will be adding the links into the caption of the replay. So if you guys want to actually go in and take the clips and maybe go in and kind of like study them yourself, please do. So I always try to add links in the captions for all my lives so you guys can go do your own research. And I would love to hear what you discover and what you find. So I spent many hours, let's just say, on this, on digging into the the dragon. And then, you know, when you go into one thing and then it leads to the next and it leads to the next, like I got into so much interesting stuff. And I'm gonna just keep playing here. I'm gonna keep playing some videos. But you know, like he said, it makes kind of perfect sense that if you take these dragons, right, or what we think they look like, and then you imagine, you know, shrinking them and imagine them, you know, being different things that exist here today. Like I actually, while I was scrolling, and I don't remember if I saved this girl's video, but I found a girl that works with like rescue animals. So obviously I'm searching the dragons. So I find this girl, she has like a, I don't know, a center where they rescue exotic animals. And one of the animals, so she has, you know, she has a lot of different things. She has like turtles and she has snakes and she has spiders. And then she has a black dragon. And a black dragon is a lizard type of animal that she has, and it's, you know, it's a beautiful animal, doesn't have any wings obviously, but I mean it looks like a dragon. It freaking looks like a darn dragon. So it would make sense if what he's saying is true. But then I still believe, like a lot of these videos are going to show, I do believe that the actual big flying dragons, they do still exist and we are going to find them. And if you are interested in this too, hit me up. Let's freaking find them together, because we will. Trust me, we freaking will. Okay, I'm gonna keep playing here because we get a lot of fun, cool videos. Let's see. Let's do the next one.
What if I told you we've been wrong about dinosaurs this entire time? They weren't those clumsy reptiles with cute little baby arms. No, they were something far more terrifying. They were dragons. And trust me, the evidence is way too crazy to ignore. The Chinese zodiac, right? It's made up of real animals. A pig, a dog, the tiger, the goat. They even got a rat in there. 11 real creatures. And then there's the dragon. Why would they throw in one mythical animal with 11 real ones? What if it's not mythical at all? Now, why do they show up in every single culture? From Europe to Asia, Africa to the Americas, every ancient civilization has stories of these fire-breathing beasts. Why would these cultures, separated by vast oceans, all end up with the same creatures in their myths? That would be very strange if they all came up with the same thing. It's because they weren't myths. They were real. Now here's where it starts to get wicked. Think about the T-Rex for a second. You know how it's always drawn with those teeny adorable meme arms? Yeah, we all had a good laugh. But what if we've been totally wrong? What if those arms were never arms at all? Picture an ostrich skeleton, small arms, but with wings. The T-Rex. Those arms were wings, man. Massive, terrifying wings it once had in its glory. Don't believe me yet. Here's something wild. In a 1946 dictionary, you can actually find listed under the entry dragon, now rare. That's right, rare, not extinct. The term dinosaur, that wasn't even a thing until 1841. Before that, for most of human history, we called them what they really were. Dragons, the legends, the stories. Our ancestors weren't making things up. They were documenting history. And here's something else to chew on. Ancient recipes dating back centuries call for dragon blood, dragon bones, even dragon saliva. Not just a one-off mention, but many of them. Why would they list ingredients for a creature that never existed? How would you feel if you were baking a cake and then the recipe called for leprechaun hairs? So next time you see a T-Rex skeleton at a museum, don't think of it as just a dinosaur. Think about the wings it once had that tore through the skies. I'm going to go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
Okay, so as you guys also see, you see how all the videos kind of so far, and I've only played a couple so far. I mean, we have only gone through a few, but you see how everybody has kind of like, they're all kind of saying the same thing, but a little bit different. Like everyone has their own theory. But they're all kind of, you know, they all make sense in a way when you see it. And I believe that what we need to do, and if you are interested in this kind of stuff like I am, what we need to do is take all of this information and kind of like puzzle them all together to figure out the outcome. And I think, and I'm going to talk more about that in the end here, what I've been trying to do, because after I went down the rabbit hole and really started looking at all these videos, and I looked at so many videos that I didn't even add in today because it's a lot, and a lot of them are very similar, and I can't sit here and play like 1,000 videos on a freaking live. I mean, I can, but that would take so long. So I found a bunch that I didn't add into the list too that are still good. So I really do think you guys should actually start doing research, and not just the dragon itself, but I said in the end here, I'm going to play a couple of videos just talking about the map, because I think that plays a huge role in this, because some people are saying that these dragons have either escaped or like fled, or maybe however they got there, but they're saying that they are still around, but not in what we know as a part of the map, right? And I'm gonna get further into that soon. I just chugged that whole thing and I'm like, oh, I'm burping now. But it all goes together, and I think you guys should do research on all of it. So yeah, let's keep going, shall we? Let's see here. Oh, actually, this is not a video, but this is cool. This is really good. So somebody told me about this a little while ago. So there's a really good book called The Golden Future, and I listened to it on audiobook the other day, and I actually finished the whole book in a little over a day. So her name is Diana Cooper. And it was this lady that just joined on board with us on Alovea that told me about this. So her book is called The Golden Future. And this book is about a lot of different things. It's about, the world and humanity and what's coming next, the future, like everything. But there are parts in the book where she's talking about dragons. And I found the book very, very interesting. So, for example, she's talking about the pink dragon. She's talking about a lot of different dragons, but she's talking about how you can call in these dragons to help you. And I think that regardless of what you think about this kind of stuff, I'm hoping and I think that a lot of you people that are my followers, you are probably, maybe, either you're spiritual or you're curious about it. Or I think that if you are not curious about it or not spiritual at all, I'm not sure you would be my follower. Maybe you would. I wouldn't think so because I cover a lot of that. But what she's talking about, meditation and spirituality and all this stuff. And what I believe that we need to do, if you truly want your own evidence, because sometimes I can think this. I was like, all these people that go out and they see aliens and they see the dragons and all this cool stuff. I'm like, why have I never seen anything? I've never seen an alien. I've never seen a dragon. Oh, no, excuse me. I shouldn't say I've never seen it. I've never seen it in the human physical world. That much, I should say. But I'm a spiritual person and I've seen things in other ways. Because in a small part of me would say that when you have a dream, the dream is reality, but I think a dream can be more of a representation of something, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the exact real thing. Does that make sense? But I do think that through meditations and through working on your higher spiritual self and working on visions, like I said, when I was a kid, I used to get downloads all the time. So to explain what a download is, because I don't expect everybody to just know that, but imagine that, you have some crazy ideas in your head, right? You might walk around and you get some cool ideas and you're thinking about something. Maybe you're an artist, you're thinking about an art you want to make, or you think about a song you want to write, or a movie you want to create, or whatever it is. But a download is more like an entire idea is in your head, but it's not yours. Does that make sense? So I would get downloads all the time. So it would be a ton of information coming into my head. And I would almost be like, where did that come from? And sometimes I would have a download. And the thing is, when I was a kid, I just thought I was just having crazy ideas, and that was a little crazy. I was a little crazy, but I never wrote them down or anything. And as an adult now, so a couple of years ago, I hadn't had any downloads in a pretty long time, but I had become very spiritual. And I'm standing at home one day in the bathroom. I think I was brushing my teeth or something. And then suddenly I had a download. And I have goosebumps right now when I'm telling you guys, but I had a download. And the best way to explain it is, imagine that you get thousands, maybe billions of years of information into your head like that. It's so much information. It's almost like I saw the entire evolution of humanity. And what I saw was so crazy that I was like, oh my God, like I don't even think that what I just experienced is true. Does that make sense? So I was trying to tell somebody about it, somebody I know, and this person was like, and I said, please hear me out. Don't judge me, I said, because what I'm about to tell you right now is not my thoughts, not my ideas, and I don't even necessarily believe in what I'm saying right now, but I need to tell somebody. So I tell this friend, and he kind of got judgmental and started questioning me. And I said, don't question me. I don't know what to say because they're not my thoughts. And the funny thing is, so I listened to this audiobook, The Golden Future, and my entire download, now I have goosebumps again, my entire download was in that book. And now it makes me think that my download was maybe actually serious, like real. And now I might think that that's actually what's going to happen. Not going to get into details on this download. It's pretty crazy. I might actually share that download next week because I'm going to have Jost back. Our favorite Jost, our favorite ex-vampire politician Jost. We're going to have him back. We're going to talk about transhumanism. So basically my entire download was about transhumanism. And it's pretty crazy and disturbing. Yeah, it's crazy and disturbing, but I also, when I had the download, I didn't see it as a bad or dark thing. Like, it wasn't presented in my head as a bad thing. And then when I listened to this lady's book, The Golden Future, because the way she explains it is kind of beautiful in a way. And I'm going to kind of just leave it at that because now you guys think I'm crazy. But we're going to get into details on all of this very soon. And I'm going to continue with video. So that was, if somebody wants to go and... Well, let me show you guys. If you guys want to read the book, The Golden Future, it's on audiobook. You can go on Audible or something, or you can also buy it. It looks like this, The Golden Future. I thought it was really good. I went through the entire book in a little over a day on Audible. I listened on 2 times speed. So if you listen on regular speed, maybe it'll take you a few days or so. But very good book. If you want to check it out, I'm going to obviously add this to the little sheet. Actually, I didn't have it on this, so I'm just going to add the book here real quick. Well, there we go. Let's proceed here, shall we? Okay, let's go to the next. Let's go. Let's see what we had here. Oh, this one. Okay, this one is really fucking good. Pay attention to this one, guys. Okay, let's see. Wait, where's the sound?
That was pretty much it. Yeah.
Open and shut case right there.
Let's start over.
This could have existed.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think yeah?
Why is it not?
I agree. I just agree.
He's saying
I just agree.
So that
was pretty much it. Yeah.
Open and shut case right there.
Yeah, because I think that
I don't think dragons. I'm going to go on record. I don't think dragons have or will ever exist.
But how do we know that, right, Tommy?
Do you have proof?
Prove it. Because we know dinosaurs existed. So what's to say that one of these dinosaurs couldn't breathe fire? Isn't that just a dragon?
Is there any animal today that breathes fire?
If a pterodactyl could breathe fire, wouldn't it just be a dragon?
I have proof.
How? No, you don't have proof. Where'd you get proof that dragons existed?
Science.
See, he's one of these COVID guys. That's all you just say science. Believe the science. That's all. What science tells you that dragons existed?
Because if they were actual acid breathers, then their bones would have evaporated over time a lot faster than normal bones would, especially because their bones were a lot more hollow than other animals and because they were a lot more spaced out because of their wing.
That's a great point, Brandon. That's a great point. The acid that they... If they're fire breathers, they got acid. So when they die, the acid dissolves the bones, and that's why we're not finding a lot of dragon bones.
Plus,
great point.
I don't like how much sense
that makes a lot of sense.
Plus, archaeologists have found bones that don't fit anything on this planet or fit any dinosaurs.
Do you think dragons could have existed?
Okay, guys. So, children are very smart. So did you guys hear what he said? So he said that if a dragon actually breathed fire, their bones would be made in such way that they would evaporate much faster than a creature that doesn't do this, meaning we wouldn't then be able to find a lot of their bones. This, in a way, doesn't necessarily prove that they're real, but he is absolutely freaking right, though. And again, children are freaking smart, and I have a bunch of videos coming here too of all of these petrified dragons they found. And I mean, like, when you see this, they're coming here soon. There's just no way there's a freaking rock that looks like that, you know? We're gonna keep going, and I think that when we come to the bottom of this today, you guys might actually question if maybe they are real. So yeah, let's keep going here. So these are photos on Google Earth. So if somebody actually wants to go and search it, you can do it on your own. So these are just pictures that you can see on Google Earth. So here, some of them I was trying to figure out what I'm actually looking at. I'm not really sure. I guess somebody studied them for a long time, but that one I actually wasn't too sure about what I was looking at. But obviously there is something underneath here and something really big. Let's see here. These are pretty cool. Let's see. There was one here that I saw. Here. So there's something up here, right? And then I guess there's some sort of missing piece here, continuing back here. Some sort of, I don't know what to call it, bones. Here you see a better image, actually. Something here going down to here. Could this maybe be a tail down there? And this would be more of the body. We're going to get more into detail on the different kinds of dragon creatures too. I have a video about that as well. So yeah, there's definitely something big going on here. Doesn't really look like that would just be on accident. Here's an even further away one. Is this something over here maybe? Here's another one. Yeah, they're interesting stuff. I guess these doesn't necessarily say it's a dragon, but they're definitely interesting. So I'm adding these links in as well. Everything is going to be in the caption. If you guys want to go research, we're going to continue with some videos. Here's a good one. Okay. Let's see here.
The United States just leaked footage of
This is a
5
kind of a
mythical
little
creatures.
repeat.
This is the released videos of the dragon.
Right there. This one is pretty extreme. That one, you know, I don't know.
Here's the kraken.
These are just dragons.
This is the leviathan. Cthulhu. And here's the megalodon. Let me know if you think any of these are real and which one's the coolest. Follow my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more. It really helps when you interact.
Okay, so I believe, and this is just my opinion, I believe that some of these things are absolutely fake. But there's just too much, and there's too much that is with science and pictures and videos. Like there's some things that just do look really real. Then I think some of the ones she was showing here, I was a little so-so about that one. Again, she's asking, what do you think is real? I think maybe the dragon looked real, maybe some of the other ones, maybe not so much. But again, like we have to kind of like take all the different information and pieces and puzzle them together into our own theory here. So let's proceed.
Believe me? What if I told you that I know exactly what the Grand Canyon is? Would you believe me? And I know exactly why it looks like petrified flesh and has all the signs of petrified living tissue. And then I showed you what the veins of a bat's wing looks like and what the Grand Canyon looks like. And then I remind you, or tell you for the very first time, if you haven't seen my dragon video, what I found right near that area. Look at this outlined in red wing, torso, and head, even down to its molars and jagged teeth. There's a dragon there, and the Grand Canyon is that dragon's petrified veins. Try to tell me I'm wrong. Try. Now, to the uninitiated to my dragon post, go check it out. But quick recap, here is the whole dragon in red. I outlined it in blue. What I found later is the wing actually comes up and around. And the head, here's the head. They even call the mouth the Black Dragon Reservoir and Black Dragon Trailhead or Canyon. There is a dragon there, and the entire Grand Canyon is its petrified vein. And just so you can see the comparisons again. And yeah, the Grand Canyon, you can't explore all of it, just like you can't explore Antarctica, because there's all sorts of hidden things there that they don't want you to know about, cultures that existed there that they don't want you to know existed there. But the bigger secret, the biggest secret of the Grand Canyon is what it actually is. And you try to tell me that's not the head of a giant dragon, and that you're not looking at its neck, and that this entire thing here is in its wing and its veins. Try to tell me. Try. Oh, and of course, I'm just joking. This is all for entertainment purposes. Just like to make you guys laugh.
Okay, so this is kind of a different type of theory now. You see how he's saying that this Grand Canyon is a petrified dragon. And, you know, again, like, you guys have to kind of, like, take all of these different theories and do what you think about all of it. But it's definitely an interesting theory. And like they say, so Antarctica we can't just go there and visit it. Why is that? Area 51, we can't just go there and visit that. Why is that? Grand Canyon, why are there parts that we can't visit? Like, why is that? So if there was nothing they wanted to hide, then why wouldn't they let us go there, right? Because then we could just go there and just see that it wasn't nothing, right? Like, they wouldn't prevent us from going to these places because there was nothing there. There's no freaking way. And again, what I think is very interesting is I think most people somehow believe that there once was dinosaurs. Why couldn't these dinosaurs be dragons? Like, some people are like, yeah, there were dinosaurs. No, dragons are fake. You believe in a dinosaur, but you don't believe in a dragon? The fuck is the difference? That they flew and breathed fire? That, like, everyone just like, yeah, dinosaurs existed once. But they can't believe in anything else. They can't believe in dragons or, like, big sea creatures or, like, fairies or certain... I mean, I guess everybody somehow believe in aliens. That we can believe in. We can believe in aliens. But you can't believe in other things like giants, leprechauns, all this cool shit. Godzilla, Titans, all of that. You just pick a couple of things that you do believe in just because they taught us that in school, which probably all was fake. We know everything is fake. Everything they told us is fake. So why can't we just switch our mind and say, fuck everything they told us? It's probably the other thing that is real. And I always say this to people. If you watch a movie or read a book and it's like this crazy story about superheroes and monsters and werewolves and vampires and all that shit, where do you think the ideas came from? You think that us humans just have ideas of things that don't exist? No! The fucking thought came from something somebody saw or something that was real. Of course it's fucking real. Don't be stupid, guys. Okay, that was the same one. Hold on. I mean, I know most of you guys that follow me are not stupid. I'm talking to the ones that don't believe me and don't believe in the shit we do. Okay, let's proceed.
So it may look like
This
man claims he found a fossilized dragon in his backyard.
So cool.
Here, y'all. So it may look like a stone at first, a big piece of stone. The more he shows, the more I'm less convinced it's just a stone.
This piece right here.
Okay, it definitely looks like it has a head and a body to it.
There's his wings. There's his wing right there. And then this is a wing appendage. It's cracked right here. It's got 3 feathers. Yeah. Claws on the other side, but here's his head, man. Up close. See that? And rib
It looks
skin. inside of his mouth.
Pretty convincing to me. Not saying it is real, but you never know.
Back of his head, just like Godzilla would look.
That is insane.
There's his claw.
Dude definitely found something odd on his property.
Yeah. Look at that.
Wow. Stay weird, y'all. Thanks for watching.
Okay, I think that one was pretty cool. What do you guys think? I mean, it definitely looks like a dragon. And if that was just a rock or a stone or something, isn't that kind of strange that it would look like that? Kind of weird. I mean, I don't know. You tell me what you think. That one's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. We're going to keep going because I obviously have a ton more. Oh, okay. This one is super freaking cool. I think this one is super cool. Check this out.
In the sky. During a storm in China, a driver recorded something strange in the sky. It disappears behind the building and then huge flames appear from somewhere. You can see something fly away from the left side of the building. The event was captured from multiple angles. Follow for more stories that make you shiver.
Okay, so I'm gonna just do it like
Disappear.
how many times I replayed all these videos.
It disappears behind the building and then here.
And then boom, fire, right? Okay, that was fire from one angle.
From multiple angles.
Different people having different angles, right? Here too. Like I guess there you could see something. Right? It looks like maybe a wing there. These Asian videos are yeah, that's somebody. Right. I mean, I don't know. That one looks, not to say that like AI couldn't do this, but it kind of looks a bit too phone, you know, like I feel like when AI does shit, it doesn't look like that. I don't know about you guys, but I've been creating content for 23 years. And to me, and I know it's like so close to real when you look at these things, but I feel like I can fucking tell if something is AI these days. Like if you really pay attention. I don't know, it could also be like I actually shoot content with things like I have an understanding of how like humans move and faces move and mouths move because I look at it all of the time. So I was like, you know, you can kind of tell in somebody's fucking mouth that they're not real. But you know, I don't know. I mean, I never shot a dragon, so I can't say that I have like an idea of how a dragon actually moves, but I don't know, you know. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna keep going because there's more. There's a ton more. Okay. This one is a very close up. And again, like a lot of these things are very kind of like blurry because I would feel if they are real and organic and somebody kind of shot it on their phone, that's kind of what it would look like, right? just showing all of these different things, and then you guys can do your own research and make up your own. Oh, okay. This video I found, I'm gonna like 40 different times in 40 different videos in 40 different, I found so many different. I just picked one of them because there were so many, and apparently this is like kind of like a famous incident, so to speak.
The bone so. Yep, this is actually real, and people were terrified after an unearthly creature in China was found as it's angry and it's coming out of hiding. People were absolutely horrified after several news sites reported finding huge 16 feet tall unearthly bones in China, and living ones are now showing themselves and coming out. As another bone so big was unearthed that scientists needed to cut it in half to transport it, and inside they found actual living red blood cells and soft tissues still preserved, ruling out 200-million-year-old dinosaurs completely, as preservation this long, as far as we know, is not possible. With another horrifying sighting in Mexico of a similar creature of a man exploring a cave. He ended up recording huge, almost 2 feet tall eggs that were cracked open, and when he turned around, the alien-like creature appeared behind him. And even other videos showing someone in Scotland recording what appears to be that same large creature flying out of a castle. Many theorize that these are dragons and they are still around, with many cultures from around the world seemingly depicting dragons the same way well before the culture could communicate with each other. But this is just a theory, a dragon theory.
That's more, back to, so I mean, like, the Asian people, like they were saying earlier in this video, so the Asian, what's it called? Wheel calendar thingy thing. I can't remember what it's called. But you know how it has all of these real animals and then a dragon? So would the dragon be the only one that doesn't exist? So now I kind of want to pull in this, where'd I put it? Here. So this is an actual dictionary, and I saw so many videos of this, so obviously I went online and researched the dictionaries. And I mean, it seems to be what it actually says. It does seem to be that. Even because I was like, hey, I know how to Photoshop, so you never know. But it does say dragons in the dictionary, and it says now rare. There was also an even older dictionary, so I think this one was from 1946. That says dragons were rare. In 1946, they said dragons were rare. But there was another dictionary back from 1922 where it said dragons are winged serpents. That was the explanation. So back in 1922, it didn't say that they were rare. It just explained them to be a winged serpent. So, yeah, I don't know. Now rare, meaning rare, it doesn't mean not exist, right? Let's proceed, shall we? Let's see, that's the one I just did. Let's keep going. Oh, here is the full clip of that one I said earlier that we saw a piece of, but this is the full clip.
T'as vu les trucs qui se sont séparés? Oui.
Well. That was a full clip of that. You kind of wish, I don't know when this video was from, but it's like you kind of wish people had better phones, right? Couldn't you have a better phone? We're going to keep going because there is more. Okay, look at this. This one, I'm not sure what to say about, but I threw it in there because why not? Let's see what you guys think.
This camera in the This video allegedly shows a dragon caught on camera on Gunung Jerai, posted on July 16, 2023 by My News Hub that according to the video, this was captured on a deer hunter's camera in the jungle. I always find low resolution videos very dodgy and suspicious, so I went ahead and enhanced that video that took over an hour using AI. And this is what I got. It isn't much, but at least I tried. This video shows what looks like a weird looking humongous snake, and if you look closely you can see what looks like a horn on its head and sharp scales on its body with a weird looking tail. And the first thoughts I had was I've seen this before. So I did some research and it appears to look exactly like what the tides portray as a dragon known as the Paya Naga. Gunung Jerai has long been known for legends and tales of a dragon. Take for example this waterfall that's named Alor Naga or Kolam Naga, where a dragon allegedly lives in a cave behind this waterfall, making this video one of the most clearest videos of a dragon in that area. People who saw this video have mixed feelings about its authenticity. Some believe that this is real, while others are skeptical and say it was made with CGI. I can't seem to find any other source for this video or any other information online, so I guess I'll leave it up for you to decide. A big thanks to my cousin Azwan for sharing this video to me.
Yeah, again, that one, I don't really know. They're really blurry. It's very... I don't know how I feel about that one, but, you know, maybe. Let's keep going. Okay, this one is pretty cool, actually.
On the top of that tree. You're all gonna think I'm crazy, but there is a baby dragon on the top of that tree. Wait for it to move, wait for it to fly, and then tell me I'm crazy. It's right there. I'm staring at it. There it goes. I told you.
Well, hold on. Let's do that one again. Just because. It's a baby dragon.
Wait.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's right there. I'm staring at it. There it goes.
I mean, you know, it kind of has the little tail and everything. It doesn't look like a bird.
There it goes. I told you.
Right? It doesn't look like a bird. It's not a bird, that's for sure. But then, is it a dragon? That is a good question. That's a good question. Okay, I'm approaching the end of the TikTok videos, and then I have some pretty cool, longer videos from YouTube. But I'm going to play the TikToks first here. All the little short things. Ooh, okay, this one, I stopped, replayed, and screenshot and froze like back and forth on this video so many times. So I'm going to play it one time, and then I'm going to do the same for you guys. Okay, I'm going to do it super slow because I did it so many times here. Oh, God damn it. Okay. I want to play it slow. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't let me do that. You guys hear? Very tricky. Know what we're looking at. It doesn't. Like, what is this stuff, huh? Look here. I don't know what we're looking at. Are these like feathers or something? Big, kind of. I don't know. And what are these things? I don't even know. So on this one, people are kind of speculating, like, is this a dragon? Is this some sort of like blue beam experiment thing? Like, I don't freaking know. Could it be AI? I mean, sure, it could, I guess. But is this again like these kind of phone clips people do. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Definitely trippy. Okay, some more of these. Oh, here's the dragon in the what's it called? In the plane window again. That was really... That's... Huh? Wing there. Like, what did they call out in this plane? That I want to know. Did the pilot call something out here? Like, hey guys, might get a little hot, just so you know. We got a dragon here on the side. Like, how did that flight play along? Like, I kind of want to know. Kind of want to know. Okay, that one is pretty cool though. I do like that video. Let's see next. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I don't know, same thing. These I don't know. I mean, like, could that be edited? Yes, certainly it could. Is it though? That I don't know. Here's the thing. Regardless of if these videos are real or not, I still do believe they're real. I do believe they are somewhere. I do believe that they're maybe not where we are. I do believe we can find them. I do believe we can connect with them. So like these videos, I said again, to me, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to keep playing them. I'm going to play the map and you guys say what you think. But I do believe that we can connect with them. And it's the same with the aliens and everything. A lot of this thing, it could be the same story here as with the aliens. You guys know that they're releasing like fake aliens to kind of scare us. And what we're seeing out there with these UFOs and stuff are probably not the real ones. They're probably human-made, but there are real ones. They just don't want us to know about those, right? So why wouldn't it be the same with the dragons? Could it be so that they are releasing these things to kind of fool us and they are real, but what we're seeing is not actually the real one? I mean, it's very possible. You guys know. I mean, why would, just because we know about Area 51 and the alien stuff, what says that they don't have like similar things for dragons? Just saying. Just saying. And I think that most people out there, you guys know that the technology we know of is not even close to what actually exists. And the things that we are shared. I mean, just take an example. Just take the freaking iPhone. I think a lot of us have an iPhone, right? It looks really dirty and gross. And this is also Black Mirror to summon demons. If you haven't seen that episode, I'd highly advise you to go back and check out the vampire episode I did. There's a lot of cool information in there. But the iPhone, so what's out now is like iPhone 16 or something out, while they're probably already ready with like iPhone 30 and they're just releasing them. It's not like they create iPhone 17 right now. They're probably creating iPhone 42 at this point. You guys know this type of shit. I know you know that. What's up, Black Legend Jr.? Said 100% most likely. Yeah, like I'm just providing information here and I want you guys to do your own research because I think that together we can find out the truth. And there's so many of us, these kind of people out there today. Imagine that all of us actually do proper research. Like we will figure this shit out. I know we will. I'm in the works right now and I'm going to tell you more about that soon. But let's finish the TikTok videos. And then we're going to talk a little, and then I'm going to do the documentaries on YouTube. They're not super long. I think they're like 20 minutes, and we can do them a little faster speed, so it shouldn't take that long, but I do think you guys should see them. So let's finish the last short clips here. Barcelona, Spain. Vivid. Not so blurry like the other ones. What are we? Singapore. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them. Always a storm. Have you guys realized there's always a storm when there's a dragon? Japan. It would make sense that dragons would show up in Asia, because the Asian people know a lot of things, right? That we don't know over here. They're pretty smart, definitely. And they're like elves, moving energy, herbs, all that stuff. So would it not make sense that if the dragon would drop over there? Because I'm sure a lot of people probably are calling for it. And that's what I'll talk about later, because I think we should call for them too. There's a dragon, I just see fire. There we go. Scotland. Oh yeah, the castle. Is that one reversed? Because it definitely flew the other way. Mm-hmm. What would you do if you saw a dragon like that? Would you scream? Would you run? Would you just chill out and record? like these people? Would you just chill around and record? I think I would probably just make sure I'm under the tree. I would definitely freaking record. we need proof here. Okay, so I got the last short video here. Okay, let's see here.
Middle Earth where we so how come the dragons don't fly over the ice wall into Middle Earth where we live? So I asked the guy who said he's flown to New Tared multiple times this exact question, and what he told me is the dragons don't like to live over on Earth anymore because we used to kill a bunch of them, and they especially don't want to come back now because of the 4G and 5G radiation, which apparently is the same reason why all the other people.
Okay, tell me this last clip didn't make the most sense of all. Dragons are animals. Animals are fucking smart. You know how if you take, let's say you go to the grocery store and you buy some fruits, food, whatever the hell you want to buy, I don't know, and then you get some real shit from like outside or something you grew yourself or from a farm, and you see, put it out and see what the animal eats. The animals are smart. They know shit. They're not going to eat shit. They're not going to eat chemicals and fake GMO bullshit like stupid humans do. So dragons are animals, right? They're probably very fucking clever. So wouldn't it make sense that they took off because this world is just a piece of shit? I even think it's a piece of shit. I just don't know how to get over the ice wall. But I mean, I want to get there. So I'm going to get into the map now, because now you guys might ask, what the hell is the ice wall? Like, where's that and what does that mean? So we're going to dig into that. But yeah, and the radiation. I mean, fucking radiation bullshit. So to just to pull in a little something in between here, you guys have probably heard me talk about Acemannan. Acemannan is also radiation protection. So I'm just going to show you guys that. If anybody wants to have the research on Acemannan, I'm happy to send it to you guys. There's studies on basically everything. So you can go in, let's say you want to know what does Acemannan do for the liver. You can go in and read. There's so much information. You even have links. No, go away. Links to, like, you see the government's studies autoimmune diseases, immune support, inflammation, blood sugar. It regulates blood sugar. Somebody asked me the other day, does this work for diabetes? Yes. So you see the links. Can this thing just let me click the darn thing, would ya? It doesn't let me click. Okay. Either way, if I share this with you guys on the phone, you can click the link and it will take you to the public studies, the public research. But I'm going to show you the radiation here. Radiation, Acemannan radiation. Acemannan increases the production of blood cells and upregulates cytokinase. Cytokinase is how you say it. These physiological changes neutralize radiation damage. Acemannan can also be used as a protective agent against cancer radiation therapy. This is something that is very huge. And if somebody out there knows somebody that have cancer, I would like to point out that it's not necessary to have radiation therapy. Acemannan is has a lot of research and studies on cancer alone. But let's say somebody do want to still go to the doctor and do radiation therapy. They can take the Acemannan with the radiation, and it helps them not get so darn sick from radiation. So yeah, it's really good. Everybody should take it. And it's fantastic for so many different things. If anybody is interested in getting some Acemannan, you can go to noblokeclub.com. That's my website. Acemannan reduces cellular inflammation, pump your body full of stem cells, and DH. So if you guys want to check it out, give it a try. You guys might have seen all the reels I post all the time of people's stories, which are absolutely insane. Actually, this is one of the craziest ones. Let me see if I have it uploaded in Ecamm here. Yes. Yes. Hold on. I believe. No. Oh, actually, no. Which one should we play? Okay, I'll just have to go to my Instagram. That's fine. We'll go to the Instagram. To Instagram. This video is like, I mean, I have so many good ones, but this one is crazy.
Looking back at my stage photos, and I had the worst stomach distension. I was humiliated to go on stage. I get the product within 2 months. I hit the stage, no bloat. 2020, I started waking up with my eyes swollen. I went from the girl feeling all confident to waking up like that every single day. I would hide in my house because I didn't want to be seen. I was begging for help. I would get the nastiest comments. I decided to shut my TikTok down. I am spiraling into a depression that no one really knew about. I even went to a plastic surgeon, quoted me $5,000, and they were just like, well, this is part of aging. I am 49 and a half. Start taking Immune. Not only did it get rid of the bloat, my eyes started healing. I had back surgery, left me partially paralyzed until I got sent home with a prescription for a walker. I was on so much pain medication. I cold turkey cut up everything. I went through the worst withdrawals. Went into my doctor. He's like, you could have gave yourself a heart attack.
What does that say about the meds?
I'm not upped my Immune. My knees don't hurt. My low back, I'm not having to get up every morning and sit on ice heat. My neck doesn't hurt. I am all in for shutting Big Pharma down because I've had 2 TIAs, mini strokes. And I had a heart attack in 2017. I was diagnosed with a couple different heart conditions, but one was mitral valve prolapse. I don't have mitral valve prolapse anymore. It's like, this is not humanly possible, Maaxx. I remember looking back.
Just so incredible. Like, so she had like 7 autoimmune diseases and microvalve prolapse. She started the Acemannan and her heart healed itself. And her autoimmune diseases are going away. She's still kind of early in the game, so all of her autoimmune diseases are not gone yet. But I look at her eyes, like all of these things, and hair. I'm sure you guys have seen the hair videos. Like, everything. So everybody get on Acemannan Betalains, and then let's find the dragons, shall we? Okay, so let's go into the long videos because they're dope. So just quick overview of the Acemannan Betalains that we do. Acemannan acts like mother's breast milk in the body. It has every nutrient the human body needs. It increases stem cell production up to 400%. And maybe some of you will understand this, but it increases macrophages 10 times. That might be Greek to some people. You can ignore that. Betalains reduces cellular inflammation by 47%, and that's on a regular serving size. So you can take more if you want. When you pump your body full of stem cells, and you fix your nutrient deficiencies, and then you reduce your cellular inflammation, guess what happens? your body starts to de-age, aka reverse age, and also now it has all the tools in the world to heal itself. Pretty miraculous. And then people saying, oh my God, these are miracles. No, I mean, yes, but no. This is actually how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be sick. You're not supposed to go around with all this bullshit. I was born with scoliosis. I have none. I had itis that we're not supposed to say because the medical system don't like when we use their words. But I had ... itis for like 20 years. I have no ... itis anymore. I have no allergies. My hair grew out. This is all my hair. I just cut off like this much the other day because it was starting to like hang in my butt crack. I don't really want that long hair. Maybe some do. But it's growing like crazy. My mom told me the other day. She's like, oh my God, your eyebrows are so big now because they used to be super thin. Yeah, everything. And skin, you guys have probably seen all this acne stuff that we showed. People with crazy acne that now just don't have it anymore. Actually, I can show you one of them.
I was having acne issues, bad acne issues. My skin is clear. Bad acne issues. My skin is
amazing. She looks, oh, sorry, it was muted while I was talking. Yeah, you saw her acne and now she doesn't have it anymore. So, I mean, like, it kind of just, it doesn't take care of like one thing. All it does is take care of your body and optimize you and your immune system, and then your body kind of just takes care of itself. And it's amazing. And I have just kind of dedicated my life to this because when I saw what it did for me and other people, like the first person I helped, he was dying. He had a couple of weeks to live, and let's just say he's fine. And he's also cancer free. Just saying. And he didn't do any radiation or anything of this kind. He did Acemannan and just ate healthier and meditated a little bit. And there we go. All good. I have another person that's going to be on my live soon that also is cancer free and also got off meds they told him he was going to have to take for the rest of his life. That's going to be a pretty cool one. Okay, let's go into the long ones. So I have a bunch of them. Is it okay with you guys that we play this on faster speed? Otherwise, it's going to take so long. I'm going to do that. How fast can you guys do? Let's do at least 1.5. I do 2, but we can do 1.5. That's fine.
In South Dakota, 3 amateur paleontologists discovered an ancient skull. Nobody could immediately tell what animal it belonged to, so the finding was handed over to the Children's Museum of Indianapolis, where it collected dust for 2 years. Despite all attempts to determine its owner, experts couldn't confirm the skull's relation to any known animal species. Young visitors of the museum named it Dracoryx hogwartsia because it looks very similar to a magical Harry Potter creature. Bizarre outgrowths on its skull fueled debates between scientists, make them wonder what kind of animal it really is, but most experts agree it's a baby animal. At the same time, judging by the size of the skull, the creature had to be at least 3 meters long. Just imagine how huge it was going to be as an adult. Furthermore, in 2017, a complete skeleton of a similar beast was found in China. Meanwhile, in Alaska, experts found one of its feathers. But the most unbelievable thing is that these animals quite possibly lived alongside our distant ancestors, who even depicted them in art. Petroglyphs found in Canada and the US prove that. But what are these animals? Could they really have roamed the land a long time ago? There are already 6 videos dedicated to extinct animals on my channel, but I'm sure this is something you didn't expect to see. In Canada, experts found a petroglyph made by the indigenous tribe of the Anasazi over 2,000 years ago. It depicts a creature resembling a giant lizard. An image of a similar reptile was seen in the San Rafael Swell, Utah, only this time it had wings. That rock art was created by one of the indigenous tribes around 4,000 years ago. If you examine it closely, you'll notice that the creature on this petroglyph had an elongated head, massive membranous wings, and clawed feet, which makes it look like some unknown dinosaur species. On top of that, there are other findings indicating that ancient humans met such animals not just once.
Introducing Remarkable Paper Pro, the ultimate paper towel.
Once or twice. For example, the Ica stones. In 1966, Dr. Javier Cabrera Darquea received an engraved stone as a gift from his friend. The motif of the stone was some type of an extinct fish. Since Cabrera had a keen interest in prehistoric items, he started searching for such stones and buying them. As a result, his collection came to number more than 15,000 pieces. Among other things, these stones depicted creatures fairly similar to dinosaurs. Moreover, on one of the stones, you can see a human sitting astride this animal. That is absolutely impossible because people appeared after dinosaurs had died out. Therefore, it had to be some other beings that looked like giant reptiles. The authenticity of these stones has been repeatedly questioned, although collector Santiago Agurto Calvo reported that he'd personally found such artifacts during excavations around the city of Ica. According to him, he found 2 items in tombs erected by pre-Hispanic cultures. Besides, stories about lizard-like beasts that terrorized our ancestors are present in the folklore of many various nations. Mentions of giant long-tailed or even winged reptiles with large teeth can be found in myths all around the globe. Even the Bible slipped them in. When reading it, we learned that on the 5th day of creation, God made great sea beasts and flying creatures. The word used to denote these animals translates from biblical Hebrew as a dragon. If we believe the sacred text, humans used to be their neighbors. Maybe they even boarded Noah's Ark and survived the flood. But references to dragons don't only appear in the Bible. Gilgamesh, a hero of ancient Babylonian mythology, killed an enormous dragon named Humbaba, guarding the gate to the cedar forest. In an Anglo-Saxon epic poem, Beowulf ripped out Grendel's arm to get this dragon's claw. In the Travels of Marco Polo by the famous explorer, you can find descriptions of long snakes with short-clawed hands. However, if anyone gave dragons most of their attention, it must have been the Chinese. In this region, parts of reptiles' bodies were used as medicine or even food. As for European culture, it also has its share of dragon myths. In addition, you can often see these beasts used as heraldic symbols. But even though studying legends and ancient art is exciting, having actual physical evidence is a whole different thing. As you might guess, if folk tales were the only proof of the existence of dragons, I wouldn't be telling you all this. In 2017, residents of the Chinese village of Zhangjiakou stumbled upon a very peculiar thing in a field. That was the skeleton of an unknown animal, and nobody had any idea where it could come from. The thing reached 18 meters in length and consisted of many segments. It had 2 disproportionately small arms and a skull resembling that of a cow. Some superstitious villagers firmly believed they saw the remains of a real dragon. They were so scared to desecrate the thing that they didn't even dare touch the skeleton. The rest of the locals, however, didn't hesitate to straddle it and take photos. Zhangjiakou officials made no comment on the discovery and didn't send the remains for scientific analysis. Eventually, everyone concluded that the skeleton was a movie prop, even though no one could tell what movie it was. The future fate of the finding is unknown because it just disappeared. And it would be the right decision to forget the whole story and agree it was just a prank if similar things weren't found in other parts of the world too. In 2021, in the Australian state of Queensland, scientists unearthed an ancient skeleton fragment that belonged to a flying creature with a 7-meter wingspan and a meter-long skull. On top of that, both the upper and lower jaws contained 40 teeth. I bet you wouldn't fancy meeting this beast face to face. Archaeologists believe that the neck of this animal was incredibly long, while the body was compact. Most likely, that was a rare species of flying reptile called Anangara. They lived about 112 million years ago and presumably fed on fish. In any case, their jaws were clearly made to catch prey. They were the first vertebrates that learned how to fly, and even though scientists suggest that Anangara inhabited all the continents, finding their remains is nearly impossible. Throughout all of history, archaeologists have discovered only skeleton fragments, mainly jaws. But the strangest and most interesting feature common to the species is a big palatal ridge on the upper and lower jaws. According to one version, those ridges helped Anangara maintain balance while flying. In addition, scientists admit that this feature really makes them very similar to mythical dragons. Furthermore, there's a finding serving as indirect proof that these animals could have existed at the same time as mammoths, and perhaps even humans. When John Reeves was working with another mammoth tusk around 10 years ago, he couldn't have predicted that he was about to find something that would overshadow everything he'd discovered before. This gold miner owns a parcel of land called the Boneyard. It's situated in Alaska, where, due to permafrost, remains of the Pleistocene fauna are preserved in pristine condition. The region's climate is favorable enough to let both bones and soft tissues survive through the eras. After mammoth tusks are extracted from the ground, they need to undergo restoration. The fossils are left to dry with hose clamps on so that they won't crack and deform. Unsuspecting, John was busy attaching clamps to yet another tusk that had been taken from a depth of around 20 meters, when suddenly something unbelievable happened. Right inside the tusk, the gold miner saw a blue feather. How could it have gotten there in the first place? Reeves was stunned beyond belief as he'd spent years building up his rare collection and never encountered anything like that. He calls this feather the most remarkable item he's ever found, although paleontologists say there were no birds with blue feathers in Alaska during the Ice Age. At the same time, John's treasure is so small that it can't even be carbon tested, as this procedure will simply turn the feather into dust. This little thing may be a key to unraveling the mystery of the creatures currently known only as folklore characters. But let's imagine that dragons did exist. How real could they be from a biological perspective? Could those giant reptiles do all the stuff they do in the legends? Chinese, Japanese, and ancient Greek myths describe dragons as ferocious aquatic monsters. However, the largest underwater animals known to science are mammals. Whales, walruses, seals, and dolphins are born with the necessary set of biological attributes to be able to live in or near water. Dragons, in turn, are definitely not mammals, and judging by the folk tales and archaeological findings, they're much closer to dinosaurs. Plus, among different types of prehistoric lizards, there were also marine beasts. For example, Plesiosaurus. Its wide, barrel-shaped torso and smooth skin with no scales helped it easily maneuver through the ocean. Very long neck and a small head let the animal quietly approach fish, which see a threat only in big-sized objects. Thanks to its short tail and 4 flippers, this predator could almost fly underwater. When the Plesiosaurus fell off the radar, its place was taken by Mosasaurus. This carnivorous reptile also had a streamlined body but a larger head, short neck, and a mouth full of sharp teeth. Now, this looks more dragonish. Mosasaurus didn't use its flippers while swimming. Instead, it moved in the water by beating its tail back and forth and curving its spine from side to side. Predators of this kind don't sneak behind their prey, but rather chase it and then attack. Therefore, water dragons don't contradict the laws of biology. But what about their winged relatives? Dragons described in various legends may seem too bulky to be able to fly, and yet there are documented examples of quite large animals that could take off to the sky. The biggest of them are called pterosaurs, whose wingspan reached 10 meters. The secret lies in the ratio of the creature's weight to the size of its wings. Pterosaurs could weigh up to 250 kilograms. Their bones were partly hollow and just a few millimeters thick. Apart from that, they were strengthened by internal struts, just like an airplane's wings. Since the bones were air-filled, they were flexible and lightweight. As for dragons, their wings could be filled with, for instance, methane. This gas is lighter than air. That's why it would make even a creature more massive than a pterosaur capable of flying. If the structure of dragon bones was indeed comparable to that of large birds, this could be the main reason why we can't find their fossilized skeletons. The point is, porous bones decay before they fossilize. That may be why we still have no direct evidence of their existence. But what about dragons' trademark ability to spit fire? Could this be a real biological feature? You'd be surprised, but not only can such animals theoretically exist, but they already do, side by side with us. Bombardier beetles can release bursts of hot liquid from their pygidial glands, located in the abdomen. The chemical compounds are stored in 2 reservoirs and a separate chamber where they're mixed. Dragon biology could work in a similar manner. It takes just one specific chemical reaction to start breathing fire. And it's not even the only way to get it done. Many animals, including humans, produce methane through anaerobic digestion. This gas is highly flammable, so instead of wasting it on useless burping, dragons could accumulate methane in internal reservoirs and, if necessary, unleash this potential with a more exciting purpose. But even though methane is so flammable, it needs to be ignited, doesn't it? But how? I doubt dragons were carrying around Zippos. But in fact, they could probably have something like lighters inside. Small silica and steel deposits on teeth would be enough to spark a fire. The lizard would need to snap its jaws one single time to release streams of blazing flames. But would this hurt the dragon itself? Saharan silver ants have a special tool for such cases, reflective bristles that cover their bodies like a metal suit. Thanks to this armor, ants can easily survive in an environment where temperatures rise to 70 degrees Celsius. And since fire-breathing dragons don't need to withstand heat from the flames all the time, this level of protection should be sufficient. This means that dragon anatomy doesn't conflict with the laws of biology either. Although there's one catch. As a matter of fact, evolution always strives for simplicity. What's the point of creating such complex mechanisms and stuffing them all into one creature? None of them is an absolute must for survival, and their reliability is doubtful. Sharp claws and powerful jaws are more than enough for a successful hunt. As for self-defense, using long, strong tails as a weapon would do the trick. If born with a pair of wings, an animal may just spread them and fly away. That's why if dragons really existed, they would have died out very quickly and been replaced by more rational species. But anyway, let's imagine these legendary beasts were indeed real beings that survived all ice ages and mass extinctions and even avoided human violence. Would they be able to fit into our world? Since dragon myths can be found in all cultures, we can assume they lived all around the planet. They could probably have inhabited Earth at the same time as dinosaurs when all the continents were a single landmass. As time went by, lithospheric plates moved. That could separate descendants of the same species so they could wind up in absolutely different conditions. As a result, flying, aquatic, and terrestrial dragon species could have appeared. Most probably, these animals would have naturally evolved as well as the rest of the vertebrates. So it's idle to hope that someday you'll meet a dragon looking like those CGI things. Feathered dragons would have lost their ability to fly just like present-day large birds. Even though they would have still had porous bones, in the course of evolution, wings would have gradually become smaller until there were no wings at all. Unable to fly anymore, dragons would have had no choice but to leave the mountains and settle in the plains to find alternative food sources. Over time, they would have stopped hunting and started feeding on snails, worms, and fruit. Despite this, they would have still had muscular hind legs with claws and powerful beaks. Wait a minute, that totally sounds like a kiwi, just several times bigger. Such dragons would definitely be welcome on farms, as the eggs they'd lay could be even more impressive than those of ostriches. Now, let's see what could happen to their aquatic relatives. Evolution would have equipped water dragons with fins instead of legs, or maybe their habitat would have made them completely limbless. At some stage of their transformation, these dragons would have gotten scales and sleek bodies to be more agile while moving underwater. Most likely, they would have existed on a diet of fish and small crustaceans, and lost the ability to breathe fire together with their limbs. Instead, these dragons would have used poison to hunt and fight for life in the ocean. They would have looked exactly like the olive sea snake. If you ask me, that's anything but a mighty sea beast that used to terrify sailors for hundreds of years. So, could evolution have been more lenient with terrestrial dragons? It looks like they could have been the only privileged species to save face. Terrestrial dragons would have walked on 4 legs and been the largest of modern lizards. These animals would have lived in deserts where they could still spew fire and make use of their razor-sharp teeth. If dragons hadn't become the top predators, they would have surely been dangerous hunters. They would have fed on medium-sized mammals and perhaps even attacked people, just like modern Komodo dragons. It seems that in the imagination of our ancestors, dragons looked much more majestic than they do through a prism of science. But what if I tell you that despite all I just said, you still have a chance to meet a real dragon? One of them lives in the tropics and has a more breathtaking appearance than any fictional monster. Its body is long and blue with 2 pairs of feet on each side, and its front feet resemble wings that branch out into finger-like cerata. The rear feet are a bit smaller, but have appendages connected to the digestive tract. Next to the dragon's mouth, there are tentacles that help it capture prey. This animal can wait for a victim for hours, looking in water so skillfully that nobody would ever notice it. This fearsome beast, this blue sea dragon, is a tiny mollusk, measuring no more than 40 millimeters. Would you like to run into it if it were hundreds of times larger?
Okay, that was some information. What do you guys think? So, I think there's a lot of good information here. I have one of the favorites videos are coming now, and it's actually talking about the map and where the dragons would have gone. So, I mean, there are different theories, right? There's a theory that obviously a lot of the dragons might have died, but there's also this theory that a lot of the dragons, or whatever dragons are left, have actually escaped, which is what we're going to go into now. And then this theory here is just kind of like the evolution would have made whatever we think the dragon is would have turned into what is around today, right? So I don't know, what do you guys think? I'm more about what's coming now. I'm more about that theory that they're actually still around and here and alive, haven't changed. They're still flying and breathing the fire and all the things. They're just not present right where we are, which would make sense. Like, where the hell would these dragons be? In the city? Fuck no. Of course not. They don't want to be here. They're not stupid. So we're going to dig into the next one, which is a little shorter, but also a little more interesting. Commercials.
Let me tell you what your parents Part 2, which again, if you want it, I will do it eventually. Just leave a like, letting me know you want me to do it. That way I can kind of judge viewer interaction. It just gets crazier past Atlas. Atlas is kind of like most normal, besides Earth, obviously, because there's less Aether. But once you get down to Akapara and then beyond the waste, you're just kind of cooked, Loki, and I'll be able to get in all.
This is not, hold on, let me go to the beginning.
This finance prodigy torched his $1 million career at a big bank on Wall Street to go all in on an unknown technology.
The Antarctic. A frozen wasteland at the very bottom of our beautiful planet, spanning 5,500,000 square miles in size, which is 40% larger than all of Europe, and sitting at a latitude of negative 69.6 and a longitude of 0. This enigmatic behemoth of ice and snow takes the place of our 7th and least populated continent, and in the grand scheme of things, we really don't know much about it. No one lives there full time, save for the 1,000 or so researchers and scientists stationed. No one's allowed to visit on their own, and in school and life, we're not taught any usable information about it. This strange land has captured the eye of many over our world's history, causing some of the greatest feats of exploration to date. But something still leaves skeptics and theorists alike asking questions about the true nature of the Antarctic. Tales of old forgotten lands, far beyond this proverbial wall of ice. Stories of strange beings and creatures that inhabit those lands, and whispers of entire civilizations past the snow-covered mountains and icebergs. Flora, fauna, humans, and entire continents with their own cultures, their own histories, their own foundations, and their own scientific rules and laws of nature. What if I told you that there is a world, or worlds, that exist beyond the wall of ice in the Antarctic? A world that plays home to millions of lost civilizations, and millions more of new civilizations. Prehistoric animals and giant arachnids, dragons and sea creatures, gnomes and goblins, orcs and blimiers, islands and continents, magic, spells, wars, geopolitical turmoil. It all exists in these lands beyond ours. You would think I'm crazy, right? Maybe not. I guess we're all kind of crazy for watching this. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at this alleged lore of all these creatures and lands and cultures and the histories of how they were created, found, and how they're being hidden in modern day. All of these places that take place beyond Antarctica, and why we can't go there, what possibly is out there, and the amazing and teeming life that allegedly exists. And hopefully I'll be stringing it together in a way that is understandable and easy to follow along, because trust me, it is a lot. If you enjoy speculative history and speculative evolution, then this is the video for you. You have found a gold mine. Hopefully you enjoy it. Now, are there actually land masses and continents and animals and all that stuff beyond the ice wall? No, there's probably not. But it's really fun to sit here for hours and weeks on end and think about it and write lore about it. And that's what's happened here. And that, my friends, is what I love. I mean, in our known world, we talk of extraterrestrials, and the words extraterrestrial just means not of our Earth. But what if that just means it's beyond our known Earth? And the planets that exist beyond the ice wall are where those extraterrestrials are from. So if that sounds cool to you, please leave a like on this video. My eyes are dead, my brain is melting out of my ears, and my hunchback is getting worse. But this video is super fun to make, and I really hope you enjoy it all. I want this to act as a one-stop shop for lore of what's behind the ice wall and the behind the ice wall and beyond the ice wall fan base. So hopefully that's what it is, and hopefully you can just sit back, relax your mind, open it up a little bit, and get ready to hear all the stuff I'm going to mention. It's great. This thing can be made into a movie. Hopefully it will be one day. That'd be really cool, actually. So grab a bucket of popcorn, grab a Dr. Pepper, kick back, grab a blanket too. It's wintertime. And join me as we take a trip beyond the desolate and lonely landscape of the Antarctic into a new world of life, creatures, and lore and history. By the way, this video is really long. You can click the timestamps below at the bottom slide bar thing if you want to skip the specific parts. Like I said, I'm going to be structuring it in very specific ways. That way you can understand it to the best of your ability. Even though some of it makes no sense, we'll get to all of it, don't worry. Lock in, prepare yourself. This is going to be a crazy ride. Alright, so the map that I'm going to be using for this video is going to be in the description below. There's a Google Drive link with an HD quality map. You can zoom up and see all the different lore if you want to. And also begin information from the World Beyond the Ice Wall wiki, which is a huge help and a very fun deep dive if you're bored on every single night of your life like me and just want something to look at to read and not get bored. Anyways, both those things will be in the description below if you want to go check it out. And major shout outs to the YouTuber Italian PNC for his covering of these maps and kind of little explanations. That way I can make sense of all the things that I'm going to be talking about today. It made it a lot easier. Thank you, bro. Thank you for you doing the Lord's work. To begin with, I just want to explain the theory in the most layman's terms possible, just to make it as easy for you as I can. That way you can kind of get a baseline for how the video is going to go, and I kind of just want to set the video on a correct course. If you do want to skip ahead to the creature and the land explanations and the history and stuff, again, check the timestamps. This beginning part will be the prehistory and the basic overview. In this theory, the actual shape of the world is not a sphere like we've been told. It's not a flat Earth or anything, actually. That's not involved in the theory. But instead, it's more of a snowman shape with planets stacked on top of each other, connected like a snowman. Earth and all the stuff that we know about it, it's 7 continents, all that stuff. It sits on the top of the snowman, where a head of an actual snowman would be. And to the south, or the bottom of our planet Earth, below Antarctica, is the next planet, the body of the snowman. This planet is called Atlas. Atlas is a much larger spherical planet as well, about twice the size of Earth. But below Atlas, on its southern tip, beyond its border, is the biggest planetoid body in this grouping, known as Akupara. So Earth, Atlas, Akupara, this makes the giant planetoid body, and all the mysterious lands and creatures that I'm discussing exist beyond Earth and in Atlas or Akupara. So this planetoid body is the 3 planets tall, and if you were to look at it from a top-down perspective, you would see the various rings or ice circles that exist to separate the different planets. Like in the main map, you can see how the middle concentric circle is Earth, the one on the outside is Atlas, and the one on the outside is Akupara, and beyond that is a land of mysterious, very weird effects known only as the Wastes. Again, they also have their own lore. Don't worry about it. Lore, there's lore everywhere, okay? But this collection of planets, this body, the snowman, is known as Gaia or Gaia. Now, Earth and Atlas are orbited by their own unique suns. They have their own rotations and everything like that. But the bottom planet, Akupara, is so large, so expansive, that it actually has 2 suns that rotate around it. That's how much light it needs. And an important thing to note that in this lore system, the only planetary body that has a moon is Earth. There's no more moons of note. We're unique with that, which is pretty cool, I guess. I like the Mothman hoodie. I think it's pretty cool. Now, in this specific video, I will just be going over the lore of Atlas and the different gates and entrances from our ice walls to get there, and all of the continents, all of the creatures and land masses of importance. That's what I'll be going over in this specific part. If you want a part 2 that has all the lore about Akupara and Atlantis and Asgard and the wastes beyond, leave a like for that. This video would simply be way too long to do if I did all that in one go, and I kind of have to consolidate where I can. So this will be a 2-part series. I'm going to do a second part anyways, but I just appreciate you leaving a like, to be honest. Anyways, all that so far is simple enough. Just a planetoid snowman shape with Earth, Atlas, and Akupara, and the wastes surrounding it. Now, there's said to be other planetary shapes like this and snowmen out in our outer space beyond, but those will be mentioned in a different video. That's not the focus. Gaia, our planetary snowman, is the focus. The outer wastes beyond all of our planets on the outskirts of everything are said to extend out infinitely into a flat plane that kind of eventually warps back on itself, creating an eggshell-like thing around planets. Essentially, the outer wastes are the eggshell, and the Earth, Atlas, and the Akupara, we are the yolk inside the egg. Inside the lore of the Beyond the Ice Wall wiki and the lore system, a substance known as aether fills up the space beyond our planets. Aether essentially keeps everything suspended. It's kind of like the glue that holds our metaphysical realities together. Aether itself is more dense in higher elevations, which keeps things more normal and more sane and less enigmatic, which means that Earth, which sits at the top of the elevation, has the most aether, meaning we have the most normal realities and less magic, less effects, and that sort of thing. Further down you go beyond the ice wall to Atlas and Akupara, the less aether there is, which means there's more magic, there's more strange effects, there's more weird plants and animals and cultures, and it just gets weirder and stranger the further down you go. With less aether means the laws of nature and the fabrics of reality don't mean as much. And that's why the 2 main planets beyond Earth have all the strange stuff I'm going to mention in this video. Aether directly affects things like gravity and light and reality stabilization, which is why strange things do happen in Earth, weird, odd things that can't be explained, but not enough to where it would cause alarm. But these strange things that happen here happen more often as we go down. But just know that the most important part of the aether in this lore is how it affects magic and energies and vibrations. Things like psychic communications and palm readings and future telling and soothsaying and all that kind of stuff, that happens more and it's more realistic where there's no aether or there's less aether. Things like projections and ghosts and haints and everything like that, beings of the ethereal realm, they can exist outside of the aether, which is why here on Earth you have sightings of like Bigfoot and ghosts and that kind of thing and magic that happens but can't be explained because there's so much aether here that keeps everything in line. Okay, so just make sure you're still with me here and you haven't clicked out the video and you're not going insane. Let's recap a few things. In the world behind the ice wall lore, Earth, Atlas, and Akupara are on top of each other like a galactic snowman. They're connected by their southern poles, and beyond those walls of ice, or walls or borders or whatever, is how you get to different planets. Everything is surrounded by this aether material, this invisible strand that keeps us all together, and where there's aether, there's normalcy. And the further down you go, the less aether there is, therefore the less normalcy there is. Those wastes on the outer edges of the map, they come out and make an eggshell around our Gaia, our planetary snowman, and the planets that I just talked about act as the yolk inside. And the aether material that keeps it all together acts as the egg whites, that liquid that keeps everything together. In this lore system as well, there's another substance that's pretty similar to aether, but it's called azoth, and it's kind of like the anti-aether. It's the exact opposite. Azoth is essentially this substance that flows through all matter. It's power, and it's in very high concentration at the very center of our Earth, specifically in Agartha. I probably just woke up wind again saying that. But anyways, azoth gives people this energy, this life force, this power, and the aether, as I said earlier, kind of limits that magic, that infinity. So it's always the azoth and the aether kind of dueling in this cosmic battle of sorts for power and for domination. Think of it as matter and antimatter. They're all doing their own thing, and it's all helping the world or hurting the world, show its magic or hide its magic, and those kind of properties. You still with me? Wait. So what I just described is actually the simplest way I can very briefly summarize this theory and the lore therein. Things exist beyond our reality in these faraway lands beyond the ice wall, and those are the things I'm going to get into in this video. But now that we have all the pre-stuff out of the way, that's just the basic tutorial of the theory. You need to put your tinfoil hats on, and you need to get ready. So I'm going to get into the lands, the creatures, and the histories and all that of the civilizations in the second planet under Earth, known as Atlas. So the planet Atlas, which is of course the body of the snowman, sits right below us and is accessible beyond our ice caps, our ice walls. And there are actually several different ways in the lore where you can get through the ice wall to explore these faraway distant lands. And before I get to the actual lands, I want to explain those gates a little bit. That way you can kind of get a little premise of what we're going for. The gates are the Sentinel Gate, the Tiger's Gate, the Serpent's Gate, and the Leviathan's Gate. Those are what they've been called, and as you can see in the image, they are labeled here. I'm going to be referencing this map a lot. Get used to it, because that's one of the only references we have. So these gates play a massive role in understanding why certain people are in these lands in Atlas and how they got found. Sentinel's Gate is located at the southern part of the ice wall. The terrain here is pretty flat, dotted with small ponds and marshlands. In these swampy marshlands lives a species of penguin that is much wiser, much more evolved than the penguins that we know. They are the Sentinel penguins. Of course, that is where the Sentinel Gates get this name from. The very first people thought to have found the ice wall and this break in between the Sentinel Gates were the Proto-Yagan, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, Proto-Yagan sailors.
This is Amazon's new money-making app. Let me show you how it works. That app is called Audible. It's
Those sailors got horrifically off course and they ended up getting lost and sailing directly through the Sentinel's Gate. A small number of these sailors stayed here and kind of set up camp and colonized the immediate areas. There's not really much plant life to speak of here at Sentinel's Gate because the land is dotted with just lakes and rivers and ponds and things like that. But those penguins that I mentioned that live here, those are another story entirely. They stand at 2.5 meters tall and are extremely aggressive. They're literally known for how mean they are and how they'll go out of their way to attack people they see. The Sentinel penguins usually spend days at a time standing completely still, just idling there in this very scary looking position until they're ready to attack their prey. One thing that you'll find in all of these different lands at the gates and beyond the gates into Atlas and beyond is that these places have tribes. They have native people that were settled there a long time ago. And I'll try to get into as much deep lore of that as I can. There is a lot of it and I will not be able to get it all in, so I apologize for the lore purists. I'll just be glossing over some of them, but I'll mention the ones that I think are important. For instance, here at the Sentinel Gate, the Sinti people are who kind of run the joint. Each of these tribes is split up by chieftains, and a chieftain rules a certain part of the tribe, and these Sinti people are known for not getting cold. Obviously, the areas around here are pretty frigid and they can get really low in temperature, and these people are known for being hardy. They don't even wear coats, kind of just walk around naked and they don't get cold at all. There are other smaller little islands that dot the Sentinel's Gate that were founded by Argentinians, by people from Germany, by people from Spain. All sorts of colonies like that were started many years ago, and the people that allegedly live there now are descended from those. Anyways, that was Gate 104. The next gate I want to mention is the Tiger's Gate, and you can kind of see where this is going just by the name. Now, this break in the ice wall is on the western side of it, so it's on this side, but I think it's that side for you. But this break in the wall is known for its hilly and harsh environments. Hot springs, volcanoes, and running rivers run wild through here, and the land is untamed. And of course, the gate is named after the tiger species that lives here, known as the Tiger del Glacier, which is just the tiger of the glacier. These are physically massive animals, not too dissimilar to the saber-toothed tigers that we know. These things possess extreme hunting capabilities, and they stalk their prey for days. They can jump and bound like an insane thing. The native peoples of this Tiger's Gate area are very large, very hardy people, and they're actually so strong naturally that they fight these tigers in gladiatorial combat in some of the colonies, which I think is pretty cool. The peoples brandish obsidian weapons because obsidian is rich in the grounds here, and they wear the skins of the tigers that they kill. The majority of humans who have settled the Tiger's Gate area are of Spanish descent, save for a few British colonies here and there, but where are those not? The people who live on the islands of the Tiger's Gate make their way, get through life by fishing and hunting. They are specifically known here to hate and detest pirates. They can't stand the idea of them, so they always try to ward them away and keep them off. The Tiger's Gate is really not a very common gate to go through if you're an explorer going beyond the ice wall, partially because of how dangerous it is to get there, and then the people not being too welcoming of pirates and those who travel there. Moving over to the eastern side of the ice wall, we have another very difficult, but probably the most famous exit through the wall itself, known as the Leviathan's Gate. This entrance is known far and wide from sailor to sailor for the depths of its water and the things that hide beneath. The water is extremely choppy and aggressive, and giant leviathans and mosasaur and fish swim in the surrounding areas. Weird-looking whales swim around this area as well, and you can hear their calls if you get close enough. Those who do live in the Leviathan's Gate area are typically from French or Scandinavian descent, but there are other varying ethnicities as well. The land here in the Leviathan's Gate is jagged, it's coarse. It's like the mountains appear to be teeth clenching down on any passerbys. The Leviathan's Gate is extremely dangerous to those who are not used to its waters or those who are accidentally stuck there, and it's known to be a very deadly watery grave for many a sailor. Strange things lurk in the waters below the Leviathan's Gate. The final and the most popular of these gates is the Serpent Gate. This is the entrance to the wall on the northern sector, and the Serpent's Gate looks completely different from the other areas I've described. The region is covered in these dirt and rock outcroppings that appear to be stalactites on the ground. These weird mounds are located on the grassy plains that make up the Serpent's Gate. Now, fitting with the theme of the other entrances like the Sentinel, the Leviathan, and the Tiger Gate, this Serpent Gate is named for the large sea serpents that swim around the waters here, as well as other giant snake-like entities that call this gate home. Large labyrinthine snakes swim in the water and they contort their bodies in these mesmerizing fashions, shimmering and shining in the delight of many a sailor and also the death of them too. The Serpent's Gate is mainly home to descendants of Asian and European countries, but there are other places as well, like a few South Americans and so on. And fitting with the other gates, there is a tribe of native people here known as the Serpentese, and this group is hallmarked by their clothes. They wear the skins and the scales of the serpents that they kill in battle. They wear them as sort of a trophy, kind of like how old hunters used to wear the hides of animals they killed in the frontier days, which also that's just pretty cool. Like imagine walking around with this like blue snakeskin cloak on. Pretty cool. And all things considered, the Serpent's Gate is normally monitored as the easiest gate to get through to get to Atlas. So anyways, those were all the gates. That's how you get through the ice wall. Those are the openings, the breaks in the ice. That's how you get to the first new world that I'll be discussing, which is Atlas. For the rest of this video, I'll be going over the land masses, the cultures, the creatures, and the lore of all the continents and everything like that in Atlas. It's 1:46 in the morning, bro. I'm trying. For the sake of the video, I'll be going over each of these continents and all the lore and stuff that they have in this order. It's a counterclockwise motion. We'll start here with Thoth, and then I'll go up and around and around and around until we get back. And that's how I'll structure the video, if that makes any sense at all. Thoth is first, and it is nicknamed by people who were there and travelers as the Nomad Continent. The lands of Thoth were settled by peoples from South America over 8,000 years ago, and more recently, they were discovered by our good pal Magellan back in the 1500s, allegedly. Now, sailing the seas beyond the Antarctic ice wall is very dangerous for many reasons. Giant dinosaur-like creatures, humanoids that have no head but their eyes are on their torso, carnivorous environments that want to eat you. These are just a few snafus explorers like Magellan might encounter in this new world. So when Magellan was injured because his boat was crashed into by another careless captain, and as a result he was thrown into the ship's wheel and suffered a concussion, he needed somebody who can fight on his side and to help him get what he deserves from this incident. That somebody might be Morgan & Morgan, America's largest personal injury law firm. Morgan & Morgan has over 1,000 attorneys that operate in all 50 states, so you know you'll have someone to back you up wherever you're at. When you're seriously hurt, like old Magellan was, your injury could be worth millions, and Morgan & Morgan do not settle for lowball offers. Insurance companies often lowball their clients, so it's very important to Morgan & Morgan that they fight to get you the money you deserve if you become their...
It's like an ad or something. Go back here.
Thoth was lived in and inhabited by several different ethnicities from across our known Earth. Now, Thoth was first inhabited by the Yagan-descended Bay Ninjor peoples, which again, there are a lot of pronunciations in this video, and I will be getting a lot of them wrong, because there's no rules for what's beyond the Ice Wall people. But those Yagan people were the first to come through the Sentinel Gate way back in the day, and the Sentinel Gate, of course, is right up by Thoth. The natives here are known as the Nordri, the Fasciati, and the Bay Ninjor, all of which descend from some sort of Norseman tribes from Europe. The land of Thoth itself is wide and expansive, with tons of different climates and cultures and animals. The landmass and the continent itself that Thoth is known to move. It physically moves in the water, and it does full rotations around the ice wall every so often. A full rotation around the planet of Atlas. It takes about 1,500 years to complete, which seems like a long time, but that's really not that long in the grand scheme of things. But for the majority of the land, it is a cool and temperate place with thick biomes of lush vegetation and animals that scurry beneath the leaves. Hidden rivers and lakes and ponds dot this landscape, and the summers are warm and the winters are cold. And because of this, the natural animals that are from Thoth have adapted to change their environments based on the change of the seasons and the fact that the entire continent rotates around Atlas, which is crazy. Thoth is home to a multitude of strange creatures and entities that I can't explain all of them. These animals often live alongside the nomads that inhabit the continent. The Beochad is a large marsupial creature that lives in the Follower Islands off of Thoth. It's known to be fast and aggressive and stealthy and nearly silent when it walks and hunts. The Hargul is a large armored mammal that kind of resembles a shaggy bear. The biggest distinction between the Harguls and the bears is that Harguls have these large chitin armor plates that are on them, sort of like dinosaur armor, and these plates protect their upper halves. Northern terror birds also inhabit the upper reaches of Thoth, and these are similar to the creatures that roamed Earth many millions of years ago. Now, the majority of the creatures that reside on the continent of Thoth are mammal or bird-like in appearance and their nature. And you'll notice themes as we go to the different continents. Some can be birds, some can be lizards, some other kind of animals that are dinosaurs and whatnot. Which I guess dinosaurs are just big lizards, but I digress. Thoth is one of the more normal kind of places that you'll hear in this video, beyond the ice wall and in Atlas. So just buckle up because it's just gonna get even crazier as we move down over to our next landmasses, Min and Nevis and the Avalons. So Min and Nevis and the Avalons are two separate island peninsulas that exist over this direction from Thoth. Min and Nevis is known far and wide as the Isles of Deception, as all the natural wildlife that inhabits its islands is known for their camouflage and their ability to blend in with their surroundings. But specifically, the most enigmatic feature is that the plants on the island will look like animals, and the animals will look like plants. All living beings on the Isle of Deception have kind of adapted their bodies to warp and change their chemistry to look completely different and take the appearance of completely different things. And because of this natural effect, not much is really documented about the Isles of Deception. All we know is the tales that the sailors have of how you shouldn't go anywhere near it because you can't trust anything on them. Moving over to the Avalons, these are twin landmasses that are kind of right next to each other, and these Avalons are really full of strange and interesting entities. Two landmasses themselves have been nicknamed the Nexus of Fantasies, which is a kind of crazy name, can't even lie. And when you hear what I'm about to say, you'll understand why it's called the Nexus of Fantasies. It is said in the great histories of the world beyond the ice wall that these lands, the Avalons, were founded by Camelot. That's right, the original kingdom of Camelot is said to have founded the Avalon lands here, and their descendants in this modern day still live there. Allegedly, this happened because in the olden days, the two sister islands of the Avalons were once connected to the ice wall, and the kingdom of Camelot, when it disappeared and left in disgrace, ended up finding it staying there, and then continental drift happened, and that's how we get the Avalons where they're at now. When the Avalons split from the ice wall, they were obviously icy and frozen. They changed when they moved further south, and now they're mossy and primeval, and almost something you'd see in a storybook. Thick fog and trees and rivers and valleys and everything of that nature flows through these sister islands. Misty skies and steep waterfalls and dragons and knights and that sort of thing is what inhabits the Avalons. Creatures that look to be out of fantasy novels take their home here. Giant beasts of fantastical proportions are said to live in the trees as well. And everything here, like I said, is just living up to the name, the Island of Fantasies. It just makes sense. It seems like this medieval, amazing heaven you could visit. The people that live here now are descendants, like I said, from the feudal.
Okay, we got some more left. What do you guys think so far? I think this is freaking interesting as shit. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm gonna keep playing it. Nobody said that it was bad. We're gonna keep going because it's dope. Oh, hello. Okay.
European people that settle the area, and they still kind of behave the same way. They have battles and armor and shields and spears, and they're not really evolved to the degree that Earth is. Further below the lands of the Avalons is a place called Arthornia, which again, this lore is crazy. Arthornia is another land that is said to be started or founded by an old world tale from Earth. It's said that their foundation goes all the way back to Merlin and King Arthur, and all the people that followed them left and they came down here in disgrace. Arthornia is home to massive forests.
I gotta point something out with that. So I don't know if you guys remember my live with let me show you guys. So I did a live with Megan, who is an energy worker. Let me see where she is. Here. So this one, Facts with Maaxx, episode 6. She did a live oracle reading on me. She's done a energy work on me before. And one thing she said was that I have connections to King Arthur. So this is obviously something I need to research more, but I think it's pretty cool, and how this guy is talking about King Arthur and stuff. I am actually, so I said this video is really good, but there is another one also that is a little longer. Hold on. Just 1 second. Nope. I think we should finish it because the other one is only like 15 minutes. Okay, cool. So we'll finish this first. We'll finish this one.
Just giant proportions and deep rocky valleys. A race of Neanderthal-like natives lives in these valleys as well, and they live in small huts. The full reaches of Arthornia are not fully known, just because there's not enough people to go searching for it. Moving over, we have the beautiful lands of the Dasboga. This is a massive island chain, kind of off by itself in the ocean, and the islands themselves are made out of these weird crystal-like things. These crystalline rocks glow extremely bright against the sun that orbits Atlas, and this causes many different colors to reflect and to refract on the ground and towards passerbys. Ruins of great and ancient civilizations are here on this crystal island, yet no one knows where they came from. Moving further around, we get to a place known only as the Islands of the Blessed. These lands are not connected by actual geography, by culture, or by people. They're just kind of all there together, so they're all lumped in. into the Islands of the Blessed. The environment in some of these lands is so lush and good for growing vegetation. In fact, you can fully grow plants in just a mere few days here. Because of this, the archipelagos on these islands are teeming with large trees and other sorts of plants and vegetables and fruits. There's an island in this chain called Genro that is so thick with brush that you can't even inhabit it. The entire island is just trees and leaves and vines. People have attempted to burn the vegetation and kind of move on to the island, but it all just grows back in a day. There are also other islands in the Islands of the Blessed, like the Malandantes and the Bamboo Celestes. These islands are covered in seagrass and bamboo forests, again, teeming with life. Several of the islands here are covered fully in gigantic flowers and Venus flytraps and things of that nature too. Overall, the Islands of the Blessed are known far and wide for their scents and their smells and their fragrances because of all the flora and fauna here. Moving up and around again to the next landmass at a lightning pace, I know, but there's so much lore that I can't cover it all. I apologize. But next we have the continent Cuerva and Cabola, also known as the Land of the Lizards. This entire area is full of a vibrant and rich culture. Fertile lands, beautiful scenery, and of course, lizards and giant lizards at that. Tons of species live here. These places are said to be not too different from the tropical islands in the Caribbean from our Earth. The native peoples that live here are known to hunt and coexist at the same time with the lizards. The lizards are vibrant in their personalities, in their patterns, in their mating rituals. All of it is so unique. It's like an island of Komodo dragons and giant other flightless dragons and stuff. There's a group of people known as the Nashivoyo who live here, and they were said to come from the island of Madagascar from our Earth. Specific lizard species like the tattooed lizard, the shedskin lizard, and many other types of actual specific breeds live here on the islands and are all hunted or farmed or used in various ways and methods. The people that inhabit these islands are also known for their equality in their politics and their economy between men and women. Even though they're kind of like tribal and a little bit underdeveloped, they still have great ideas of equality, and the women are able to buy and own their own land and property and farms and that kind of thing too. Good for you guys. Continuing to move along below this ice wall, we have the next huge continent on the list, known as Patatia, or Patatia. This grand mass is located beyond the opening of the Leviathan's Gate, and it was settled by the Ottoman explorers of the ancient ages. This land is the first prehistoric type mass that I've talked about today, and those early explorers from the Ottoman Empire, they found dinosaurs and giant brontosauruses type things walking around here as well. The land is covered in deserts and forests and bogs and other swamps. Armored sauropods walk the plains with their clubbed tails, and ankylosaurus type creatures that are known as pangolins live here as well. Gigantic crocodiles swim in the swamps here and up the streams, and massive man-sized lemurs leap through the trees. It's pretty much just like the old dinosaur days that you'd see from a movie or something. Giant horned frogs range the plains and the prairies, and large birds fly through the sky and blot out the sun. Huge wild hogs live here as well, and these are a big nuisance because they burrow underground. That's how they travel. And because of this, massive sinkholes and valleys form. They kind of act like big worms or something. The people who live on this continent to this day are from all over our Earth, and they're descended from tons of different people. Asia and Europe and the Americas and all that stuff. This land marks that quintessential land beyond the ice wall vibe, these lush forests, these vast burning deserts with these huge dinosaurs that just walk across the plains. That is what this place is. That is Patatia. Now right above Patatia, as we go up, is the huge landmass known as Zerzura. Now Zerzura is said to be about the same landmass size as real-life Europe, so it's a pretty expansive area. Misty, temperate woodlands and highland deserts and swamps and mountain ranges and vistas and archipelagos, all sorts of environments are located here in this giant continent. Zerzura is known for its many ideas and perceptions that kind of change reality. As I said at the beginning, the further down you go in the snowman structure of Earth and Atlas and Akupara, the less that reality is real. The more magic and strange things and enigmatic findings that can occur, and that's exactly the case here. Zerzura has kind of gained a reputation with sailors and travelers and explorers as another place that you just cannot trust. The physical world can distort here, and the reality that you see might not actually be reality. And on that same note, Zerzura is home to a ton of different sentient and sapient animals and creatures that add to that deception. The main case in point is the Zerzura blimye, which is this sapient, large creature that walks around. This is the first example of a blimye, which is those creatures that don't have a head, and their facial features, where they should be, are on their torso. These are the only non-human, sapient, sentient entities that I've covered so far, and they're the main ones here on these islands. Zerzura is nicknamed God's deception, and that's because of the factors I just mentioned. The reality of things here is just not true. You can see one thing, but it's not actually occurring. There's things without heads walking around, and people in places that don't exist, and entire civilizations that you can't trust. It's a beautiful land, but a mysterious land. Gigantic and enigmatic mushrooms grow, and they have different effects in the environment if you eat them, and it's just a whole ordeal. Continuing up and around the wall, we have reached the huge, massive landmass of Geminia. Now, Geminia is physically the second biggest continent, the whole thing together that I'll be talking about today, and with it comes a share of eccentricities that are beyond weird. In Geminia, everything comes in pairs, so every natural occurring thing has two of them. If there's mountains, there's two identical mountains. If there's creatures, there's two identical creatures. If there's plants, and so on and so on. You get it. Geminia is also home to one of the only sentient, non-human beings in the entire Atlas world, and those are known as the Zwado beings. Now, these beings are known for their peaceful nature and their ability to reconcile with their enemies. They sort of look like hippo-elephant type creatures with short legs and long trunks up the front of their face. They also are known for their long tongues. They are extremely kind and social creatures, and despite the fact that they're not human, they can interact with humans pretty well. I find it kind of wholesome that in the lore, if you read it, these creatures they're sentient, so they think like humans do sort of, and they try to do these daily tasks like live life, but they can't because they're kind of clunky and they have these long tusks and tendrils and stuff. So they oftentimes have to help each other out because they just love each other so much as a race, as a being. So they always help each other out doing these tasks, and I thought that was pretty wholesome. When the continent of Geminia was first explored and first found many moons ago by the Spaniards that colonized it, his Wado beings were almost wiped out through hunting to complete extinction. Geminia is home to so many different ethnicities from our world, and it's all very specific. You can see on the map that I'm showing you right now. I can't get into it all, there's not enough time, but just know that a lot of people from our world and their descendants have settled here. Strange horned fish swim in the water around Geminia, and gigantic, sentient, elephant-like things walk around the actual land here. It's a very strange place, made out of pairs and doubles, and everything is two. Very weird. We've now made our way all the way around Atlas, all the way up to the Serpent Gate. This is where the land of the Dishipasu and the Xenonesia and Aten lie, which those are very famous in the lore, and I'll of course be getting into all of them. Dishipasu is a troubled landscape, full of hazards and fortifications, and an environment that really just seems like it hates everything. It's like they're naturally built to deter those from landing on it. There's sharp, rocky outcroppings, there's poisonous snakes and frogs, there's beaches that you can't land on, there's whirlpools. It's all very pirate type deal. In fact, they're so dangerous that they're often used as prison colony islands from some of the other continents here. That's how bad we're talking. The only people who dare live on these dangerous islands are the native people of the Mosanosans. Now, these Mosanosans formerly used to live in the Xenonesia before the Blimye War, which I'll kind of get into later. This war essentially saw these humans leave those islands because the Blimyes ran them out, and because of that they came here as a last-ditch effort. These people were typically Russian or Portuguese or Spanish in descent. All the islands in this little chain here have their own lore and their own histories and such like that too. You can look at the full map if you want all of that. Moving up and over once more to the massive cluster of islands known as Xenonesia. Xenonesia is known far and wide for its wildlife that will seek to attack anything that moves, as well as the strange inhabitants that live on the islands themselves. Beings known as Blimyes, which I've mentioned several times in the earlier parts of this video, those are the beings with the heads that are on their torsos. They inhabit inhabit these islands and these archipelagos. Now, real life stuff here, Blimiers are actually based off of some early human history accounts of desert people that were cataloged, so I think it's pretty cool that they've tied that into this lore here. It's pretty neat. But the history of the Blimiers in the Beyond the Ice Wall lore is kind of sad, actually. I got pretty teary-eyed reading it. It begins in 1200 BC, long before the Blimiers were even created or anything like that. There were native people that lived in this island, and there were other explorers coming in from different parts of the world. Before you knew it, the native population of all the various islands were fighting blood tooth and nail with all the explorers that were coming through as well, and it was all chaos. Death and warfare was commonplace. Tribesmen fought tribesmen, and family fought family. It said that no head was safe from noose nor axe in that time. That all changed when a very enigmatic and powerful being.
Okay, we're approaching the end of it. I think this is very interesting. Very interesting. So I'm going to play the rest of it. There's not that much left. So enjoy.
Came to Xenonesia and attempted to rule all of it. The only name this entity has is Sfath, which is S-F-A-T-H, and when Sfath arrived to the Isles, more death ensued, and he attempted to rule with an iron fist. He was feared far and wide for his madness that he brought to the lands of Xenonesia. His torture and his decapitations of the tribesmen and the warring people was really just terrifying for everybody. He attempted to essentially bring all of Xenonesia to heel using these horrible tactics of torture and control. Since he was an extraterrestrial, powerful being, he kind of had the power over these tribesmen to do so, though, in his mind at least. But during all this beheading, specifically, over the decades and centuries, Sfath ended up actually creating the Blimier population here. As I said, these beings don't have a head, they just have where their head should be, their face is on their torso, and it seems that they've evolved because of the decades and centuries of Sfath's decapitations. That's the entire reason they exist. The Blimier over time evolved into these really strong, fast creatures that were physically just a sight to behold. They were very muscular and tall, and they had bone plates in their weak spots. Essentially, Sfath created a very powerful being that did not want to be controlled. If you've ever heard of All Tomorrows, this is pretty similar to that. Eventually, Sfath saw what he was doing, and he saw that he created something that he probably couldn't stop, so he ran away and fled in disgrace. But only after realizing that he created a land of monsters and odd things and things that weren't natural. Twisted, horrifying beings that don't even resemble what they were is what he created. He essentially tried to play God, and he failed. And what was left was the Blimiers. After Sfath left, the Blimiers fought whatever remaining head people, which were people with heads, that were left. They had a bloody, bitter rivalry, and they hated each other. But of course, since the Blimiers were physically bigger, stronger, more adapted to fighting, they won, and they forced these people off the islands to go to other places. Like I mentioned earlier, some of them went to those prison islands, which I feel bad for those people, but whatever. That all happened decades ago. In modern day, the Blimiers are pretty peaceful. They share cultures with the head people, and they share customs as well. And in the modern day, the islands of Xenonesia are a calm place to be, a cultural paradise, actually. The climates are nice, there's beaches, there's deserts, there's forests, there's everything you ask for. But essentially, the Blimiers are the most notable thing about Xenonesia. They look pretty cool, they're pretty legendary, especially in the world beyond the Ice Wall fandom. Now, we've almost made it all the way back around Atlas, all the way to Thoth again. We've almost made the full circle, and the only thing standing in our way is the last large landmass of this video, Aten, also known as the Grand Orchestra. Aten is known very widely for how rich it is. It is a very vibrant place full of wealthy land and wealthier people. It's said to be the most wealthy land in recorded history from a natural standpoint, and the people and the beings that live there have definitely taken advantage of that. It's also absurdly beautiful. It smells amazing. There's birds and flowers and big giant trees, and the land is known for how harmonizing the birds sing together. Some of the songs the birds chirp are so beautiful that it brings people to tears. And the entire continent is just said to be musical. You can hear it when you're there. It's just this amazing, lively music from the woods. The birds are chirping, the wind is blowing. Some people even say when the wind blows, it blows music. The native peoples of this island are unlike any other place in Atlas as well. Those birds and those beautiful harmonies they sing. As you can tell, the birds and the fowls are the most popular and famous thing from Aten. But you can kind of think of Aten as this fairy tale land where there's gnomes and there's magic and there's orcs and goblins, there's tunnels, there's mushrooms, there's leprechauns. Anything like that exists here. These things are human in nature, but they're also as far away from it as you can get. They have these mystical properties and these ancient languages they speak. Aten is also home to a ton of other kind of creatures as well, like giant rats and giant lizards and giant ostrich type things. But again, their main thing is the birds. The birds are very big there. Now, around the landmasses of the last few islands and continents I've talked about, like Xenonesia and now Aten, giant beings swim in the ocean. Large horned whales and strange mosasaurus-looking creatures are seen all the time. Whirlpools and rifts and all sorts of things like that are very common in these oceans, especially the closer you get to the ice wall. But all of these lands that I've discussed today have their own people, their own history, and their own culture. I've said it a million times, you're probably sick of hearing it, but it's true. And I've gone over as much of it as I can physically in this video for it to make any sense at all. I want this to be kind of a taster for those that want to dabble into this, but not go too crazy. But with all that said, I have now officially gone over or skimmed over all the landmasses of importance in the Atlas world beneath our world. Of course, I did skip over and miss some landmasses on the outer edges. Those are just so much, I just couldn't get in all that. The video would be 10 hours long if I did. I know it's there. I read it all myself. I just couldn't script it. It wouldn't make any sense for you guys. What I've done hopefully kind of encapsulates it all in a way that can be understood, maybe. Now in the lands of Acropara and beyond, in the frozen wastes and the volcanic wastes and
I want to just pause here. So basically, if you guys understood, up here's Earth, right? And then this is what he's talking about. It's this. And then outside of here, I've been trying to find information about this, but I haven't found it yet. If anybody has it, please let me know, because I've been finding a bunch of information about the second circle, or you know, it looked kind of like a snowman from the top, right? So obviously we know Earth, and then this one is a little bit more spiritual and mystical spot, right? A little bit more magical, and then out here is supposed to be the most. So I believe that through ascending and through meditation and energy work and all the stuff, we are able to not only go there, but also connect and communicate with these. And again, like, I am in this journey myself. I can't say that I am any sort of expert, but I've come pretty far, and I'm currently I'm working with somebody right now to be able to perfect what I'm doing. So I'm sure some of you guys have heard it before, but I've been able to leave my body for quite a long time, many, many years. And it all started with me actually having injuries. I was in so much pain that I didn't know what to do with myself, that I basically, like, I don't even know how it really started, to be honest. But I left my body. Like I guess I was in so much pain that I just, without even knowing what I was doing, just kind of got out of myself. Does that make sense? And I started to get really good at it. And I mean, like, I can get out of my body like this quick. I just lay down, and like, it doesn't take me very long. I'm gonna say like seconds for myself to like really get out. Hold on, I'm just gonna plug in my charger because I don't have enough outlets. When I do the lives, there's so many things to plug into this darn thing. And I bought this adapter and it doesn't fucking work. So here we go. Yeah, so I can leave my body, but I'm not fully capable of controlling exactly where I'm going. So maybe some of you guys do this already. Maybe some of you guys have experienced it, maybe on purpose, maybe not on purpose. But maybe, I mean, if somebody's on here and you're like able to fully control where you go, I would love to talk to you. I actually have a guy on my live this week that have been doing this. We're not necessarily going to talk about that this one time, but I'm gonna bring him back later again for an entire episode on just this. It's really freaking cool. I love this kind of stuff. So that was that video. Again, I'm gonna put it in the link if you guys want to rewatch, maybe in a slower speed or something. And now I'm gonna play the last video, which is in the speed I'm playing, probably about 7 minutes. Commercial drive me crazy. Okay, so he's kind of covering the same thing as the previous guy, but this is a completely different person. So check this out.
On the second ring beyond the S-Walls. This is the 8th episode of the series, and I'm finally back after a 2-month pause, which was very fortunately brought on by me getting basically a disease on my lungs, which caused me to not be able to talk without coughing for a long, long while, and still, even now, I still have some of the effects remaining, but that doesn't matter because today we'll finally continue the series where we last left off. So for newcomers, let's just get on what we're doing. This is the model that shows the Earth seen in this way, where there are rings that go around what we know as Earth, aka the 7th or 6th continents, depending on which model you prefer, and then Antarctica is divided into these gates that actually are able to be accessed, and you can finally find the lands beyond the ice walls. But that was the purpose of the original series, for which this these episodes were made for. Then now we're exploring what is even after the second ring beyond the ice walls, which is the mountain ring, as written right here, and the continents that are existing between this mountain ring and the wastes at the end of the world. So in the past episodes, we have started all the way from here after exploring the entirety of the second ring and going all the way here, and we explored one by one all of these continents, learning all about them, about Valhalla, Asgard, Anubis, Sky Caverns, Refuge, Oracula, about these wastes, the Titanic Forest, the Walls of Asgard, the Frozen Wastes, the places like Lemuria, Murangi, and last time we went and did these three, Murangi, Lands of the Red Rain, Formosa Ultima, and the Invasion Isles. Today we'll continue from this area and we'll continue going south in this direction. So before we get right into it, I just want to thank you for your continued support on the series, and I will hope you continue to support me in my future episodes and videos. With that said, let's get right into it. So the first continent we will be talking about today is actually not really a continent, it's more like an island. In fact, it is so small you can barely see it in the map. This is Oikyosa, the psychic melting pot. This island might seem very small and irrelevant, but it is actually one of the most farther islands compared to the rest of the world in this map. In fact, it's right at the edge of the world, or well, the edge, you can debate what you can call that, but it's between the frozen wastes and the volcanic wastes, which by the way we'll be talking about in this video. This makes it very complicated as a land matter. In fact, it is very, very, very interesting when you actually get into it. All sorts of strange psychic phenomena manifest on this island. So let's talk about the first time any humans actually arrived on this island. As we've seen in previous episodes, it is not too uncommon for humans to exit the ice walls one way or another and actually arrive to the lands beyond the ice walls. And while of course they could arrive here in the first ring quite easily, the second ring is another issue. It's way harder, but sometimes, only sometimes, it does happen. And in the case of Ikyosa, being as far as it is, it might have been better if they didn't. So, those who arrived on this island at first didn't notice anything weird, but as they scoured for resources, they noticed something weird was happening in their psyche. Their minds were being affected by the presence on this island. What presence? Well, it wasn't a physical presence, it was more like a feeling that they could feel inside of them. Their consciousness and senses of self were starting to blend together, slowly but surely. The same was happening to their minds and their senses of conception. Everything they understood was changing, and as they continued going around in this island, they could actually see the effects of this on the local wildlife and what actually existed there. Creatures started to look one another, and plants started to all look the same, but despite looking the same, they couldn't be recognizable as any plants or animals they had seen before. Furthermore, on the 7th day from their landing, the physical forms were starting to fuse together as well, so not only on a psychic level, but on a physical level. In fact, they could see plants growing on their own skin, same as with animal parts like fur. They felt like they were being fused with the creatures and life that existed on this island. And even worse, if they touched one another between these comrades, they risked fusing one with each other. All this nonsense led to the captain of this crew declaring that to protect the lives of these people, they had to leave immediately. And although, of course, very hard to actually get to any near landmass, as you can see, it is extremely isolated, and it is located in the glacial ocean, so the waters are extremely cold. Imagine like going around Greenland or something like that, and imagine just trying to get out of there if you're like dispersed in nowhere and you have to get to landmass, but there's nothing there. The closest one was one we will get to in this video, but in this case, they had to reach something else. They had to reach the Thousand World Sea. So this crew finally escaped, and they managed to unfuse the parts which were fused. The things that were starting to grow in them start to fall off, and their mental capacities and psyche start to turn backwards into what it was before, and their experience on Oikyosa didn't change them fully, and it wasn't too relevant to their lives. But for this reason, Oikyosa was absolutely forbidden for any other human that could have reached it to reach it, so that's all we know about Oikyosa, despite the terrible things that happened when somebody reached it. My hypothesis is that if this is true, then the reason for it to be like that is because of the effect that the glacial wastes and the volcanic wastes would have once they, blend with each other and the residue arrives into the sea. I don't know about the psychic effects. I guess the fumes that arrive from this kind of waste could affect the vision and the senses of the people that reach this island. As far as the physical senses, my hypothesis is a bit lame, I guess. I think it was just an illusion of sorts, like a hallucination. They weren't actually fusing together fully, but it was more like what they were feeling they were doing. So I don't think it would have actually become some sort of horrible abomination of I don't know how many crewmates there were, but I guess 7 people fused together. I don't think that would have happened. I think they were hallucinating strongly because of the fumes that came here. But that's where the description ends, so honestly my hypothesis or my idea is as good as any's. Anyways, the next place we will be looking today in this video is the thing I mentioned before, aka the Thousand World Sea. So I think this might be one of the biggest parts of the video because simply there is so much, literally on the map, there's so much. So the first thing we can note about this Thousand World Sea is that it's not just sea, there's stuff in it, literally. And that is the Thousand World Archipelago. Well, okay, Thousand Worlds isn't meant to be literal, there's not like a thousand worlds here, it's not like an alternate universe kind of deal, no, it's just islands, but it's so many and so much of them that at some point you ask yourself, am I going into different worlds every time I hop from one island to another? Which I guess could make sense. If you see the other oceans that this map kind of shows, they are mostly void of any sort of islands. I mean, of course, there are some big ones, and the continents, like we've seen before, things like Amphetamina are examples, and here, of course, there are some archipelagos that are bordering the continents, like this right here. There's a bunch of islands here. Maybe I guess this could be a good example, Abraxas, the glowing islands. I mean, that's an archipelago for you. But not to this level. There's never been, at least we've never seen, an entire ocean which is literally filled to the brim with islands, and also with different vegetation. You can see these being more jungle-like, you can see these being more desert-like, these could be more Mediterranean-like. In fact, the description says that these are in fact more Mediterranean-like, and they resemble the ones inside of the Mediterranean, which is the sea right here, in between Europe, Africa, and Asia, and the islands actually appear to be, or at least the more inhabitable ones appear to be similar to Sicily or Crete. This actually has to do with who actually inhabits these islands, because in fact, they are not uninhabitable, they're actually quite inhabitable, and in fact, some of them, not all of them, but a portion of them is actually settled. Who settled them? Well, the answer might shock you, because literally nobody could expect this, but it's the sea people. Okay, that sounds a bit crazy, right? Sea people? What are you talking about, sea people? Okay, if you know a bit about ancient history, you might recognize the sea people, because they're actually a very important part of where, the Bronze Ages in, I guess, the area that is now the Old World right here ended, and when the Iron Age started. So the Bronze Age was a period of time where civilizations started growing, especially in the Fertile Crescent right here, and in the Levant as well, Egypt, Anatolia, the modern parts of Greece, I guess Iran as well. All this area here was experiencing the start of civilization as we know it, with places like Babylon, the Hittites, Egypt, dynasties, etc., etc. And at some point, by the end of the first millennium BCE, or BC, before Christ, what happened is that there were these people, these nomads, that arrived from nobody knows exactly where, and traveled from the coasts, attacked from the ports into the lands of these states, and destroyed them, burned the cultural aspects of where they hid their knowledges, they destroyed the leaders of these civilizations, they destroyed the armies, they raided, they pillaged, and in some way they directly caused the end of the Bronze Age, because they made these civilizations regress afterwards. So these same sea peoples were of course sea people for a reason. Why are they called that? Because they all came through boats, and they came from the sea. The historians theorized that they were some sort of Sardinian tribes, so from the islands of Sardinia, which was called Shardana, because that's what the sea people referred to by the Egyptians. But there are other theories explaining claim that they are Greeks of some unknown sort, or maybe they didn't even come from this area of the world. And in the case of the land beyond the ice walls, the theory is that after the Bronze Age happened, so after this collapse was caused by them, they had to find new homes. And it's not too impossible for them to have settled somewhere else, because we do know, and this is a little fun fact for those that don't know, but the word for the region, and I can't actually say the region itself, but the word for the region that is right here, which is not the other word, okay, how can I explain this without getting my channel banned or something? Okay, there's two entities here, currently, and they're at war with each other, and I'm not going to say who is at war with who, but because I can't say names, but the one that is the Arab entity, I'm just going to say it like that, the word for those actually come from the Philistines and the term Palestine, and those were actually descendants of the sea people which settled the area during the end of the Bronze Age. So I hope you understood what I meant without having to explicitly say the words, because otherwise, once again, YouTube will not like that, because they like to censor everything. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they have settled areas where they plundered, basically. So it's not too impossible for them, if they actually escaped from the ice walls and reached some other parts of the world, and reached all the way to the World Sea, to have settled these islands, especially since, as you can see by this equator, or at least you could call it an equator, these lines, these red lines, are supposed to be the equators of the outer rings. So imagine this being somewhere of like where like jungle would be, and this is a desert, and so this island, this area right here, could have a sort of Mediterranean climate, which would be perfect for them to settle in. Hence why they settled these islands and started creating outposts on them where they could trade within each other. So the people that came to Ethiopia were probably the descendants of these sea peoples, which the names of which I'm not really sure of. But an interesting fact that these sea peoples and the people that colonized, I guess you could say, the Thousand World Sea are actually in part Neanderthals. In fact, parts of their DNA corresponds to the descendants of the Neanderthal humans, or I guess the hominids that came before the Homo sapiens in Europe and Asia. Anyways, going back to the geography of the Thousand World Sea, the islands themselves are roughly all the sizes. Well, of course, the sizes change. I guess this one could be the size of Cuba, while the majority of them I saw and I compared them to the islands inside of the ice walls, and they seem to be mostly of the size of the island of Jamaica, which is roughly south of Cuba and next to Mexico. And so it's not very large island, so you can't expect so like a large, threatening civilization empire to rise from here. But it's still interesting. And one thing I want to say about the sea itself, since we talked about the archipelago alone, is that the sea actually holds in it a lot of life. And this life is, of course, filled with terrible sea creatures that we can imagine. But one of these specifically, and I guess the most egregious, could be the Leviathan. The Leviathan, which also has been named and recognized as a creature in the Bible. I guess the terror of the sea, one could say, one of the biggest sea creatures that is the length of 300 meters, so several feet, like literally a lot of them. I don't know, I can't remember the translation between feet and centimeters or meters right now, but it's a lot. Trust me, it's like very large. We're talking 800 feet, maybe more. It's a lot. That's what I'm gonna say. And this creature, which once again mentioned in the Bible, is basically the cousin or the sister species to the one that actually exists inside of the ice walls and between the ice walls and the first ring, which is why this area right here on the map is called the Leviathan's Gate. We've actually talked about the Leviathan's Gate in a previous video when we were doing the first series. We described why the Leviathans were actually there, and this type of Leviathan is different from the one of the World Sea, because the one of the World Sea is basically a free species. It just roams around the islands and I guess lives off the wildlife that inhabits those oceans, while the Leviathan's Gate actually is guarded by these Leviathans. So there's some sort of insurance for those that I guess control these gates to not let the people that are inside of the ice walls escape outside of them. Or I guess you could say that, or maybe they're peaceful. I don't know. I mean, they could be whales for all I know, honestly. But I mean, whales don't really grow that large. 300 meters is a bit too much, don't you think? Once again, several feet. I don't really know how much, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Anyways, so that is it when it comes to the Thousand World Sea. But before we end with this part of the map, I want to say one interesting fact about what actually caused such a disparate and long archipelago to form. These are actually the remains of the moon that impacted and fell into what now is Formosa Ultima, land of the broken moon. We explained this in the last video. Basically, this is supposed to be like a landmass created when one of the old moons of Earth, I guess, Theia, or I guess it was another plane of existence that fell into Earth, and it caused like a huge explosion, like it was at the start of the formation of this plane of existence. But the end bit is basically that this continent, Formosa Ultima, was like the main part of what remained of that that Theia thing that fell into it. And these parts we're seeing right here, which make up the landmasses of the Thousand World Sea, are actually the remains, the scattered remains of the asteroids that came with it. Hence why it is so far going and starts all the way up here and ends here. You actually take this area and compare it to here. We're talking about the size from Australia all the way to South Africa, like this amount. So it's not irrelevant. It's quite big. Hence why this was made like this. Next, we're gonna talk about Eden.
And Doug.
You'll be back. Emus can.
The Primordial Garden. So I know a lot of you have been waiting for it. I've been mentioning the fact that this was on this map for a long time. I think at first I mentioned it in the first episode of MMO, like I was scouring between the continents, I was just zooming in, zooming out, seeing what was on this map, and I catched an eye on Eden and really saw that that must have been something interesting. And I've mentioned it at least in the last two episodes, and eventually we'll get to it. And it's finally time, fellas. It is finally time to talk about Eden, the Primordial Garden. So obviously, this is hypothesized to be where the actual thing is. So for those that don't know, but I guess everybody should know, but
So just as you guys see, this guy isn't really talking about dragons specifically, but I think it all kind of goes together because they're talking about the places outside of the map, which is potentially where the dragons went. And everyone has kind of their own theory and story about it. I'm gonna finish this video just so we have covered everything I had. I'm putting it all in the caption. You guys can go look again. You can read again. You can do more research. If somebody finds any more information, any more cool information, please send it to me. Hit me up, or even maybe we can do a live together. Who knows?
some might not know that Eden is the Garden of Heaven, aka the terrestrial paradise, aka the place where Adam and Eve were made into, and of course the first birthplace of humanity according to the Bible, when humanity was created by God. Adam and Eve were the first two specimens of humanity, and they were put not somewhere, random on Earth, but they were put in a specific place, aka the Garden of Eden, which was supposed to be the perfect place for humans to live in. Endlessly fertile, would just give them resources, would let them live in eternal peace, they wouldn't have to work, everything was good, there were no illnesses, and so on and so on. So, of course, this is a map, this is the Garden of Eden. Like, you can interpret it on a religious sense and say, okay, outside of these walls, that's where Eden is. The way I see it, it's more of a coincidence. Like, okay, is this really the Garden of Eden, like the whole thing, or is this like a place that is so good that it is called the Garden of Eden? So, before we actually get into what this specific continent does and what the properties of this continent are, we have to talk about a bit of like how and why people in history have been trying to find the Garden of Eden. So for those that don't know, the Garden of Eden has actually been hypothesized to exist inside of the Azores in multiple locations throughout history. Some of the first examples of these were in the Fertile Crescent between the Tigris and Euphrates River, so the area around here. This is for the reason that in the Bible, in the passages, it is mentioned that literally the place of birth of Adam and Eve, aka Eden, is in a region that is the source of 4 tributaries of rivers. And 2 of these are actually specifically mentioned, and they are the Tigris and Euphrates River. The Tigris and Euphrates River, I'm not going to be perfect in drawing this, but there's something like this on this map. Okay, that's where they are. And because of this, people were saying, okay, Eden has to be somewhere here, in what at that time was called Babylon, Babylonia, or Assyria in this northern part, in this southern part, Sumeria, so very ancient names. It's where modern-day Iraq is, in case you need to have like a more contemporary view of it. So Iraq is where Eden was originally thought to be. But if you think about it more, then it says the source of 4 tributaries, so I guess you would have to count these 2 rivers as well. I think that's where they go, and that's where in the ancient times, where Armenia used to be. So for a long time, people thought that the Garden of Eden was somewhere in the mountains of Armenia, hence why it was like very hard to find, because it was covered between the mountains, it was hidden. There were other theories as well. In fact, there were theories that said it was in the Persian Gulf, so somewhere right here, so it was at the mouth of these rivers. Other theories included the area that is now the Lebanon, which the Phoenicians, which were the original inhabitants of this area, called Phoenicia. So they said that this was the area where the Garden of Eden was there. As you can see, they're all places very near to where the ancient kingdom of David or Judas was, where of course the Bible was kind of like written in, so that makes sense. But there actually were like more wild theories. In fact, for example, since it was very famous to like go search for the Garden of Eden in the Middle Ages, at the end of the Middle Ages, when our guy Christopher Columbus from Genoa into Spain traveled all the way, I mean, why am I saying our guy? I don't know, I'm not associating him with it. I'm just saying that's who did this, right? When he went, I'm sorry, I had to specify. When he went from the Iberian Peninsula, I don't remember exactly what route he took, I think it was something like this, and he went to Hispaniola, this island right here, he thought that he arrived in the Garden of Eden. He thought that the entire New World was the Garden of Eden. So not only just Hispaniola, the islands where the Dominican Republic and Haiti are, but the entirety of the New World for him was the Garden of Eden. And last but not least, the Mormon interpretation, the Mormons being a religious group, a stem from Christianity, I guess, that exists mainly in the United States, mainly in the state of Utah, around this area right here. And their interpretation of what the Garden of Eden was supposed to be in is Missouri, or at least where the Mississippi River ends, somewhere around here, I think, because there's like multiple rivers coming from here, multiple tributaries. So as you can see in history, there's been multiple theories of where the Garden of Eden might actually be in. And in this map, the resolution to this, the solution that it gives, is that it's not behind the ice walls. It's beyond the ice walls, and it's not in the first ring, hence why it's been even harder to find. It's actually after the mountain ring, after Shangri-La. It's between the Ouroboros Sea and the Glacial Ocean, even further around the equator in the second ring. It's right here, Eden, the Memorial Garden. And the description of this continent actually is scientific in a sense. It is said that Eden has a power of spontaneous generation of new life forms, which can include hominids of sorts, so like humans, but can also include any sort of like life form, hence animals, plants, and so on and so forth, but also resources of any kind. And the Garden of Eden would be situated right here, where these 4 rivers come from. And if you see all those representations of the Garden of Eden in history, you can see that mostly it's been painted as having a lake either behind the characters shown in the paintings or near it. Of course, because of fertility, but if we're going based on like simply, the map, looking at a simple way, I guess this is really where the Garden of Eden would be, in this map. So the question is, how realistic is this? Can the Garden of Eden really exist outside of the ice walls, in this area, in this map? It's up to you to decide. But it's definitely been an interesting read, because, the whole spontaneous generation of new life forms, and the fact that somewhere here there should be the tree of life and knowledge, the one that Eve famously got the apple from, would mean that any man that actually reaches this continent, any man or woman that reaches this continent, could achieve infinite knowledge. But then wouldn't he be, or she be, repeating exactly what happened in the Bible? And God would not be happy about that. I'll leave you with that when it comes to the Eden. Last thing we'll be looking at in this video is the last of the wastelands we have to talk about. Actually, is it? I mean, I think so. Actually, you know what? I don't think actually that these do, so we'll wait for those. But this is definitely one of the last ones. It's the volcanic wastes, or volcanic wastes, I guess. So at first look, I thought these were just like all other wastes, so literally just a big landmass of volcanic activity with volcanoes exploding all the time. But then I looked at the map a bit closer, and it appears to be that there's like borders between islands and such in this area. So my interpretation of the volcanic wastes is that this area right here in dark red, like brownish color, is the equivalent of like literally volcanoes upon volcanoes upon volcanoes. So they're filled with volcanoes. The red part is like oceans of lava. Like these ones right here, especially these ones, but all of these are just craters and like multiple craters that mix with each other, creating like these little seas of lava, lakes of lava. And finally, there's this area, which is actually a sort of sea that is filled with all the lava flow coming from these lakes, coming from these volcanoes, but despite being terrible, it is not completely uninhabitable, or rubber. Of course, it is uninhabitable for humans and any sort of like carbon-based life forms, but I've seen a hypothesis, a question, I guess, that says that maybe in these oceans, so not on the volcanoes themselves or in lakes of lava, but in the oceans, there might be silicon-based life forms, which is a concept that has been hypothesized multiple times in science fiction or in general science when it comes to looking at the worlds that could exist above ours. And one of these hypotheses is that since carbon-based life form is so hard to actually get without the specific requirements, then silicon, which is a way more resistant material, could actually support life in specific forms. This could be, of course, only in the oceans, so it wouldn't be on land. And an interesting thing that I looked up myself to see if this could actually be possible is that silicon does melt at 1,400 degrees Celsius, while lava is only on average 1,200 degrees Celsius. So I guess, it's possible. It's possible. I'm not saying it is the case, but it's possible. That said, that's where I'll end this video, guys. We did the entirety of Oikyosa, the Thousand World Sea, Eden, and the volcano.
Okay, that was that. So you see how it kind of all goes together. But what I think we all should do... Let's find the dragons, guys. I suggest if anybody's interested in actually taking this a little bit further. So I'm currently in training with Alobar Jones, who is fucking incredible. I'm doing his 1-year program right now to be able to astral travel. But I want to show you guys some of my favorite people that I have worked with myself. So I'm gonna pull up their pages real quick. You guys can go check them out. So these are now people that I have done work with in different ways. Let me see here. There we go. So this is Megan. She does energy work, energy readings, tarot readings, card readings. She did one live for me actually on a live, which was super cool. You guys can go check her out. So I highly advise, and she even said it too. So she can do an energy reading on you. So her Instagram name is wise_warrior_coaching. She also have the wisewarriorcoaching.com. She has Facebook group. She has a bunch of stuff. So go check her out. So she did an energy reading on me where basically she went into my energy field. And she was kind of like the first one who did like a real thing for me. And everything she told me, I remember it was a pretty long session, maybe 2 hours. I have goosebumps. I'm crying. I'm laughing. You know, it was just so powerful. And all the things she told me, I was like, wow, it all kind of just explained my freaking life to me. It was just the coolest thing ever. But what was even cooler was that after she did the session on me, I get to Albuquerque to train MMA at the gym, and Joel ended up doing an energy session on me one day. And through his session, I actually saw what she told me. So she told me things, and then I saw it for myself. I saw it. It was vivid like a movie, and it just kind of like confirmed. Oh shit! Let me blow my candle out. It kind of just confirmed that what she said was true to me. And she even told me that if you ever have an energy session done and somebody basically enters your energy field and reads it for you, you shouldn't just leave it at that. You shouldn't just have this person tell you this and this and this is what it is. And then you're just like, okay, cool. Like, proceed with the work. Do things for yourself. See it for yourself. Start working on energy and meditation and whatever floats your boat. Like whatever you get into. If you guys want advice, I actually have I have different books. So we got Biohack or Die. I got different. You can go to my page Biohack or Die. Actually, even better to get all the books at the same time. Biohack. Let me see, blah, blah. I should probably just change this darn link because it's kind of weird. Okay, so it's biohacked@myflowdesk.com/love. You can just DM me. I can text you the link. But if you subscribe here, you get both my biohacking book and my Raise Your Frequency book. So this one has tons of pages of links to meditations, frequency sounds, just good videos to watch, like information about water, like energy, everything. So all of this is completely free. All you got to do is hit me up, get the link or find it and just sign up. You get all the books. The other book is a biohacking book, basically explaining how you get completely free when it comes to health, with completely out of the medical system, don't need them, don't want them. And again, my goal is for you to not have health insurance either. I haven't had health insurance in I don't know how long, and I never intend to have one either because I don't need one, because I don't need them. So this is my goal. And if you're curious in starting your journey in getting there, you don't need to cold turkey, just do it all, stop it all, But I definitely advise it. And I have a lot of good information. And this is my deed for humanity. This is my purpose. I believe I'm here to help and educate and tell you guys, you do whatever you please with the information. I'm not saying you have to believe me. I'm not saying you have to trust me. All I'm doing is sharing information so that you can research for yourself. And it's the same with, the Acemannan food technology I talk about all the time. Here's the thing. You don't have to take my word for everything. That's why we have 30 years of research. We have 700 peer studies. We have 30 years of proof that there is no side effects, no toxicity. We have story after story after story. When I started this about a year ago, my goal was to try, because we had so many testimonials from people whose life changed, but most of them were in writing. And I'm like, I mean, what does that say really? Anyone can write whatever, you know? So my goal was to start helping people, meeting them, letting them through, like, that's why I want to do the videos. I want you to be able to see people's excitement, see their faces when they tell you that they're not sick anymore, or they tell you that their freaking hair grew out, or they tell you that, oh my God, my acne is gone, or oh my God, my fucking post-COVID shit is gone. I don't use inhalers anymore because I don't have asthma anymore. Like, I want you to see it. I want you to fucking feel their energy. And that's what I believe, me as a content creator, this is why I did what I did. I've been doing commercials and shit for 23 years, but I don't think I did that to learn so I could do this now. And then I want to show you Alobar also. Alobar Jones. So he's a badass. He actually has a really good YouTube channel. I'm going to show you guys here. So Alobar Jones. You can find him here. So he is one of the world's best exorcists and astral traveler / remote viewers. It's kind of, astral travel remote viewing is a little different from each other, but, and you can go to alobarjones.com. Let me see, this is his website. So I am doing his course right now. It's a 1-year course. You can chat with him. You can book a call with him. He's in Australia, which I don't know if you guys are aware about energy and vortex and whatnot, but there's certain locations in the world that are like basically the mecca for energy, so to speak. And those are, I don't remember exactly where. There's somewhere in Australia. Then we got Chile. Then we have, okay, brain fog. Either way, I will get into this more soon. Also, where I am, Albuquerque is an energy vortex. You guys have probably heard of Sedona, but Albuquerque and Sedona are not necessarily like the meccas of the world. That is supposed to be Chile and Australia, something, and whatever. There are a few more places. We can do that conversation another time, but Alobar is dope. Go to his YouTube and start checking out some of his videos. So he has some really fucking cool videos. And I actually have one video on here. Let me see if I still have it in here. Or did I remove it? I took it down. You guys can find it on my Instagram though. So I did this demon interview, which is from him, which is freaking awesome. If you scroll down here, where's the demon interview? This is my exorcism, which was recorded. You guys can go listen to my exorcism. I had one done. And then scroll down further where it says help interview with a demon. So that one is really freaking awesome too. If anybody has never done an exorcism, I highly suggest it. And I don't mean the kind you see in the movie where there's a priest like, and you're like, that is not what I mean. That's not that's not what we do here. That's not what he does. When Alobar does the exorcism on you, you're fully aware and awake, and you're there. You know what's going on, but a demon will basically speak through you. And I don't even know how to explain that experience. It was crazy. And I mean, I know what I felt. I know what I heard. There's a freaking demon, or actually 3 demons talking out of my mouth. And if you go listen to my exorcism, you can hear them. And it's not me. It's not me talking. Just saying. So that was cool. Very, very cool. And afterwards, I felt incredible. I have felt very good after that, actually. So I highly recommend it. So go check out Megan. Go check out Alobar. Obviously, go check out Joel, because Joel is awesome too. Very helpful in my spiritual journey. King Bau. And I'm going to end today. Let me think. What is the best way to end this shit? Get naked! No, we're not going to do that. Not today. even though we're probably meant to be naked too. If we really go back to the basics, we're probably not meant to wear clothes either. I just bought 100% linen sheets for my bed. So I have 100% organic cotton comforter, and then I bought 100% linen sheets. Do care about what you wear, guys. Go for cotton and linen and stuff. Don't buy the polyester and synthetic bullshit. And if you are gonna wear that, do it only on a special occasion. Like, that shit's not good for you. That's chemicals rubbing in your vajay or your butthole all day long. It's not supposed to go there. Your skin is an organ. It takes up all that bullshit and you get sick. So just don't do that, okay? Just don't do that. I'm trying to figure out which video we're gonna end with. I have a new Pure Blood launch coming very soon. I'm just waiting for the samples to take pictures. I got officialpureblood.com. Go shop my merch. I got some really cool shit coming. And maybe I'll end with my hair video, because it's actually ridiculous, but this is the most popular video I've ever done. And honestly, I never even thought of making a beauty video about Acemannan, because I'm like, oh my god, we're reversing health conditions, that's crazy. And then I post this video and it goes fucking viral, and I have like 20 girls like, I want thick hair too. So I'm gonna play it. And for guys too, nice hair. Ben had his hair, he took 6 Acemannan a day for like 2 weeks and his bald spot grew in. So check this out.
Did you know that Acemannan makes your hair grow like crazy? Yes, I'm gonna prove it. Let's see here. See, no extensions here. Nothing here. Nothing here. Show the back. See how we're gonna do that.
That's my lion's mane right there.
See, nothing.
That's Ben that grew in his bald spot.
Not sure what I'm doing, but if these were the extensions, that'd be fucked up right now. See.
You see how thick it is?
Is that good enough?
Yes, somebody asked me to prove that it was my hair. I'm like, it's my freaking hair. Today, over there, I had not brushed it, so it looks like a little crazy, right? I'm very curly. So today I brushed it, but if I wash, well, I can brush it, but I blow dried my hair today to be on the live now, because I just showered like right before because I trained. But if I wash my hair and I don't blow dry it, like, it gets super curly like that, which is crazy because I never had curly hair like that ever. And it's thick, like, it's crazy. And I don't really style my hair. I can style my hair so it looks cute and like smooth and shit. I just don't care. I train every day. I'm sweaty all the time. Who gives a shit, you know? I don't give a shit. You guys are not very chatty today. I see there's a lot of people watching. Everyone's watching and being all quiet. That's fine. That's fine. Let's see if I can sleep. I drank a bunch of Focus and I'm like fucking ready to roll. Probably should go sleep, guys. Oh, so I want to end with this. I am trying to find the dragons. So I do meditation, I'm doing the astral training, all this good stuff. So what I'm trying to do now, and the first step in kind of doing anything at all, whether you want to go out in the real world and see crazy things, or if you want to see it in your visions, meditations, dreams, whatever floats your boat, guys. We're going to talk about reptilians later too, because that's a cool thing that I started kind of putting out intentions for. But I'm right now putting out intentions to connect with dragons. So I will keep you posted on what I find. And here's the thing. If I connect with a dragon or see a dragon, like, that's all the fucking proof I need. And I want you guys to understand that you can do this. If you watch a bunch of videos about aliens, if you actually wanted to, you can connect and communicate with them. Like, wouldn't that be the best proof you could possibly ever have? Why would you need to listen to other people and take their word when you can just find out for yourself? And I understand that this might not happen overnight, but wouldn't you want to? And thereof, like all these things that we talk about, or we talk about, whatever, conspiracy people, whatever you want to call us. Like, I don't sit on here and just talk about whatever nonsense. I talk about things, and I'm actually trying to do it and live it. So thereof, I have a coach for my meditations because I believe I'm pretty good at it. I'm a master manifester, but I want to learn to control all these things even better. And I want to be even better at this stuff. And that's why I felt like it was time to start working with somebody truly and fully and commit. So tomorrow I have a session again, and I'm super pumped to see. We've had 2 sessions so far, and I really like what we've done so far. It's really fucking cool. And if somebody wants a little bit of advice on these things, so the first step in anything, no matter what you want to do, the first step is to learn to just do things on yourself, right? So you want to learn how to clear your own bad energy. You want to learn how to instantly get rid of bad energy or trauma. Like, you want to be pure. Your body want to be pure, but your soul and mind want to be pure. So you want to basically detox yourself through meditation, and you also want to detox your physical body. So before I started this training course I'm doing right now, he advised us to do heavy metal detox. So we have a new product for Alovea, which is called Core, that detoxes heavy metals. And I even did a test result where it says I have no heavy metals in my body. So detox, parasites, heavy metals, mold, chemicals, radiation, all this shit. You want to detox that out of you, and our products are incredible for it. Spiritual people or regular people, this is going to change your life. So if you have any questions, hit me up. I'm going to tap out because it's late. I love you all, and please go do your own research, and I'll see you guys tomorrow because I'm going live with Joe Bush tomorrow, which deserves way more highlight and attention because this is one incredible man who has an incredible story, and he has helped over 4 million kids already, which is why we do everything we do. So good night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow.